Hi, everybody. This is Xbox Ultimate Podcast, episode number 93. I would like to welcome you to the show today. We're going to have a fire show today. Oh, fucking kidding. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Xbox Ultimate Podcast. We're live. We're here. What's going on? Thanks for being here. This is going to be a blast. We're going to have a lot to talk about. We got Xbox Bethesda showcase to go over. We got this whole slate of games coming in 2022, 2023. Gonna get people's critiques and also, you know, what their overall feelings of all the things that got announced coming to Xbox. Maybe some of the exciting things that aren't being talked about so much, and maybe what's going on with some of this criticism everywhere over everything lately. It's crazy, man. And why are game journalists seeming a little bit more and more biased by the day? I don't know. It seems like it's a thing. So we're going to talk about a lot of that stuff. And we got an amazing panel, as always, here from the Fun Spec fam here on Xbox Ultimate. We'll start with the realist himself, Mr. Jasper. What's up, Jasper? How's it going?
Yo, it's going pretty good. Played a little bit of that Halo event today because I haven't had much time to do that. So that's kind of what I was running today, was getting my event fractured skin and stuff unlocked. So that's what I've been up to.
Right on, man. That's cool. Did you get it done?
I got 3 more levels, so, but I don't know. It's getting kind of boring.
Yeah. Okay. Right on. Then we have the always fuzzy Belvedere. What's up, Fuzz? How's it going, man?
What's up, everyone? Doing pretty good. Still playing a bunch of games on both systems here, back and forth between GT7 and also playing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and going back to my old favorite, Insurgency. So, man, so many awesome things we saw at the show. Can't wait to get into it, but man, I'm having fun.
Yeah, right on, man. Lots of stuff to play still in this 2022, right?
Yeah.
Then we do have the mellow fellow from outer space himself, who is finally feeling better after 2 weeks of being a complete turd on a blanket. He was
turd on a blanket.
I don't know. Like you said, you felt like shit. So
all right. Thank you for the great analogy. That was fantastic.
Yeah.
No, I do.
I'm glad you feel better now, bro.
Yeah, and I'm glad that the community's out there, praising games and playing something, and while the media shits on your hopes and dreams.
Shits on your hopes and dreams. I love it, man. So that's a very dramatic way to put it, but it rings true in some sense. So we're gonna get into that. Then we also have the encyclopedia of gaming, dating back to the very first game ever created, the one and only Pong Soul.
Well, let's see if I'm working, first of all, since I was having technical issues. Look, it's great to be here. It's Friday night. Let me know if I start botting or if I'm disappearing or whatever the hell's going on. I shut down everything except for Restream.
It seems better now.
Chat, I see all of you. You're all beautiful. I love you all. Thank you for coming here tonight. I'm not going to be able to respond to you, but I do see your chat. So thank you. It's great to be here. It's great to be here with you, fam. Gamers, Christmas is over, but we've got lots and lots to talk about. That's the best part. We got weeks worth of content, and hey, thanks to the media, we got even more topics to talk about. So listen, this is a good time to be a gamer, and I'm happy to be here, and great to see you, Fuzzy. Great to see you, Jasper. Great to see you, Psycho and Mav. I just saw you last night, but I still love you, bro. Yeah. You got a beautiful face. I miss you.
Thanks, Let's man. Go. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Absent today is Kate. She hasn't missed an episode in like ever, I don't think, except she just said, I don't want to do it today. I was like, okay, that's fine. But
you should have forced her.
That
would have been fun.
She's got stuff she's got going on right now, so she can't be here today. But like also, absent, as you guys have noticed lately, is Assassin Lupa, right? So I know on the Twitter, Lethal Papa had made it public, so I made a post regarding that as well. Just so everybody knows, we still have a lot of positive vibes out there, a lot of high hopes. She is right now sedated, waiting to undergo a procedure on the 22nd, and I was told that I'd be informed if anything changes until then. So as of right now, that is still the status, and I'll try and keep everybody up to date on that. She has been through this before. She's very strong, and that's something that she deals with on a regular basis that she's like to keep secret, for ever since I've known her. And we kind of had talks about it before when first episode happened last year, and she kind of told all of us about it, right? But she kind of kept it from the community on purpose, just because she's kind of a private person, but once that became public, yesterday I made a post about it. So I'm still very hopeful. I think that everything is probably going to end up being okay. At least that's what my hopes are, but it does not hurt at all for everybody to send positive vibes, because it definitely helps, right, in these situations. And we do miss her and can't wait for her to get back. And that's the energy that I kind of want to put out there right now, is that I have a lot of confidence she'll be back here with us, and I can't wait for that to happen. And if we get any other updates on anything different than that, then we'll make sure to let anybody know, right? So, but we miss you, Lupa. The wolf is in the emojis. Send out your wolves members, and show Lupa that love. But yeah, we do miss her, and it's been hard not telling people kind of what's going on. You know what I mean? But it's out there. I don't know how much she would want us to talk about it, right? But regardless, it's worth mentioning, right? Because she's a very important part of this community, a big part of our family here. Always treated us with like absolute kindness and respect, except for Jasper. Sometimes she likes to give him shit.
Jackie Joseph.
Especially when she meets somebody new or whatever, she likes to razz on them a little bit. But that's just part of her fun personality, right? Like, absolutely missing her presence here, and can't wait.
She was trying to trigger me every week. Okay.
She is. She's a great character. And yeah, we can't wait. We can't wait to have her back here. So, but in some spirits of gaming, like, she would want like us to be talking about all this amazing gaming news we've gotten over the past week and a half or so. It has been gaming Christmas, as Pong likes to call it. A lot of presents under those trees for everybody, and I feel like overall it was a very crazy, like, fast-paced, like, week and a half or so, and we got a crap ton of game announcements. And overall, I mean, I'm curious, like, as a general sense, because this is an Xbox show, Xbox Bethesda, like, how do you think they came out of this week? Do you think they came out of it now, like, with the general public? Like, I'm talking about general public now. You got the morons on the Twitter sphere, you know what I mean? You get like the people that are always looking to rag on somebody, always looking to poke holes, and always trying to, like, "Oh, this can't be this good because of this," or blah, 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 right? All this nonsense. But overall, just the general public sense, and like with coverage over everything. How do you guys, I wonder, feel that Xbox fared after all this is over with? Let's start with Jasper. Do you think the 2022-2023 approach to this was a good move? You think they got some positive vibes from it?
For the general public, like, Jeff Keighley put out a poll, like, rating the show, whatever. Everyone kind of rated like a B was like the highest rating or whatever, like the most percentage of his poll. But like everyone that I've talked to that's not like in the community, like here, they've always just said it's kind of shit. So I'm like, the general public, I'm like so confused on if it's shit or if it's good, because the Twitter poll had like hundreds of thousands of people rating it B, but everyone else is saying it's shit. So I'm like, I really have no idea where Xbox stands right now with like the public.
Yeah. The Keeley's poll had like 117,000 people, I think, voted, right? And it was very weighted towards, I think it's like 72% was either an A or a B, right?
Yeah.
And 28% was like C and D, which is like 3/4. I mean, it's pretty much 3/4 of the people out there that voted thought it was a good show. Good showing, right?
Good math, Mav. Good math.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah.
I had to put it in perspective,
Well, I mean, it comes down to that the general public, like the showcase, then you had what we know in the community as the diehards. Well, they're gonna dislike it regardless of what it was. So we're gonna get that off the top. So the public enjoyed it. They liked it. I mean, the diehards, like even with us, it wasn't the best Microsoft showing, but it was there. So we'll see. We'll see what it was. I didn't like the whole 12-month layout that they did. I'd rather them done a hybrid. Show us a portion of the showcase. This is what's coming out for the first 12 months. Then after the fact, now the next set of games, this is what is in store for the future of Xbox, and showed us those games. And then we would have gotten the best of both worlds. Like, okay, we're getting something now within 12 months, and we got something to look forward to in the future, which is great, and this is what we wanted. But I think they wanted to focus only on the next 12 months, and as you saw, some of the community members thought it was all right, and the rest didn't like it so much, and that's represents the poll, and the public thought it was all right.
Yeah, so 72% thought it was great. Psycho, we talking about some this, some that. No, it was overwhelmingly good scores. I think 72% is pretty high. It's like that would be like if a movie got like a 72% on Rotten Tomatoes. You'd be like, yeah, that's pretty good, right? Well, maybe or no.
Well, 72% liked it, and then 28% didn't.
Yeah,
didn't. So,
but even a C is not a horrible score, right?
No,
it wouldn't be a C, man. If you averaged it out according to a Rotten Tomatoes, that would be in the 80s. So it would be considered a good show.
Right. Okay. Thanks for correction, Pong.
Yeah, no, since we're following along with your math here, I just wanted to make sure that we were keeping it consistent. Yeah. It wouldn't turn out to be 72%. 72% thought it was
above
like 100 to 83. So the average would. Yeah.
Just to correct you again on this, Pong Soul, since we're doing this, Rotten Tomatoes
actually,
Rotten Tomatoes operates a little differently, because Rotten Tomatoes takes a percentage of people that voted something positively or negatively. So Rotten Tomatoes will have critic scores where it's like 72% means 72% of the reviews out there are positive, or 28% negative.
But would C be a positive?
Maybe.
Okay, so then that would bring it up.
It would actually. It would actually.
Thank you.
But then we're talking about like 90%, right? And we're talking like 90%.
Right. That's what I was saying. However you want to dice this, it would show up as good, no matter what.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, it was a solid show. I mean, I did give it an 8.5, so it was a solid show, but it wasn't 2021's showcase, which was on pace and just one of the best showcases that they had. And I think we were spoiled that we had that, and that's what we were basing it off of. And this time around, they didn't do the same route, because they just gave us a focus of 12 months, and we got what we got. We know what we're possibly going to get past July of 2023, but we would have also liked to seen what those games were. We have liked to seen those avoweds that we know is coming down the pipeline. We wanted to see that gameplay, and we wanted to see the gameplay of Hellblade 2. We wanted to see that, what's Perfect Dark, possibly gameplay or something. A future Pong. Come on, they can put up a.
You were in that. Look,
2-minute gameplay trailer.
Psycho. Look, you're in that group that was really into hopes and dreams. Okay, that like they were going to show the whole roadmap. Okay, look, you knew that wasn't going to be there.
You wanted the roadmap, man.
Listen. Mav and I talked about this last night, and again, I hear everybody hear it. I think that the overall general consensus has a lot to do with the expectations not being set ahead of time.
Yeah.
I think had they come out and set the expectations, not just for us in the community, but even for the people who don't jump into our shows, don't jump into the Twitter sphere, whatever the case, but do read stuff when publications like IGN pick up on it. If articles had been written because Greenberg came out and said, look, expectations. Our showcase is going to focus on the next 12 months, what's going to be in Game Pass, what's coming soon, not later. Then everybody would have had a totally different feeling about it. And all of us talking about it on shows, interacting with people in Twitter, all that kind of stuff, our expectations and kind of the general feel of the show would have been completely 100% different. And I think that, unfortunately, people had that initial hit of, oh, what do you mean we're only going to see stuff for 12 months? Whoa, wow. Okay. So that initial hit of kind of just, ouch, it kind of overtook everybody else. If you sit back and you rewatch this show and you already come into it knowing that it's going to be 12 months and what they did show there, 35 games coming out in the next 12 months that are going to be in Game Pass for us. Look, that was a good show. It really was a good show. And I think this is Mav and I talked about this last night. My personal feeling is this is the new E3 time show for Xbox. They are now going to do 12 months at a time. And I think it's good. To Psycho's point, they have to show us the future as well. They have to show us those things that are a little bit further out. I'm not talking about Perfect Dark far out, but I'm talking about some of the stuff like Avowed and those kinds of things that we know are coming in the next couple of years, or 18 months to 24 months, let's say. I think they do need to give us updates on those and show us something throughout the year. And that's what we've talked about, is they got to start doing more shows. Now, could they use one of the shows later this year? There's talk about XO coming back. Obviously, we got the VGAs in December. Are they going to use those shows to showcase some of those future titles? I believe they are. I believe we'll see Avowed sometime this year, right? I think we will see that type of stuff that we missed in this one later. But going into next year, I think that the roadmap is maybe a spring show. Then you got E3 with a 12-month crystal clear roadmap. I actually really love that. And if this is the new way, and all of us and everybody that's an Xbox fan goes into that show knowing, hey, we're coming into the show, we're going to see the exact roadmap of what we're getting for the next 12 months. I think that could actually be really exciting. And then have another fall show like XO or whatever the case may be, and you supplement the things that we would miss from a normal E3 show from back in the day. You supplement those two shows with that kind of stuff. And again, when we get Activision Blizzard underneath the Xbox umbrella, you're talking about they're going to have to do something like that. There's too much content. Otherwise, they're going to have 3-hour E3 show. Okay. It's just, it's not going to happen, right? I'd love it. Yeah. I'd be there for the whole thing. Most of us would be, but they're not going to do it that way. So I think that's what they're doing going forward. And I do think that again, they're going to have to come out and tell us what they're doing. They're going to have to kind of explain it. But if they set all of us up for that, hey, June, you get to know the next 12 months going forward. Hey, I'm cool with that. I think that would be kind of exciting. So I'm down for it.
Yeah, I agree. If they give us three showcases, we've got a spring like in March, we got the June E3 showcase, then we have another one, let's say
September, October.
Everyone sleeps on Gamescom. That's in August, but we got Halo Wars 2 announced there. We got Age of Empires 4 announced there, I believe. So they announced big stuff at Gamescom. Everyone kind of sleeps on that.
Yeah. But if they come up with a new official show, or they bring back XO and it's on a regular basis, then they could still do stuff at Gamescom, but then they could save the bigger stuff for their own kind of show too as well. So either way.
Yeah. I mean, if they give us something, and like that one showcase being more of like the down the road future showcase, like here's coming out in the future down the road, because they already showed us the next 12 games coming out in the next 12 months. So in June, that would be interesting. It would be what we all have wanted for a long time. And I definitely agree with you with that. And let's bring some more showcases, Xbox. I know you're listening. Let's do it.
Yeah. They may do that. I mean, do you guys think that's in the plans for either later this year or next year? Like Fuzzy, do you think like we could get potentially like a fall show this year, or maybe early spring next year?
Yeah, Fuzzy. Phil gave you all the news, right? Phil gave you all the breakdown, right? So
now, right?
You were working strategy. Oh, you did. Good. But you guys were working out the strategy of Xbox going forward, right? So go ahead, lay it out, Fuzzy.
I think the biggest thing is I would love to see them do that. And I think they've heard the feedback as far as the 12-month thing, which, it was a little bit of a shock. Well, not really a shock, but it was like that the earmarked warning before the conference began. But for me, that 12-month deal was perfectly fine. Sure, I would have loved to see Avowed or Hellblade 2 in action type of thing, but for the most part, it gives me a strong sense of what's coming. Now, as far as the things that are further out, yeah, they definitely should either do another show, or I have the gut feeling that they're going to space some of the stuff out and unveil it at like the video game awards or something to that effect. But having a couple of shows throughout the year, whether it's XO or a Gamescom thing, like Gamescom is typically, at least in the past, it's always been where you would find the new controllers or something to that
Yeah, it's
effect.
been kind of smaller stuff, but
But
like yeah,
yeah,
more
it's
PC side too, focus there.
true. So it's Gamescom. We might get a nice surprise. Um, there's possibly also the let's say the what do you call it, the Series 3, I guess, or the Elite
Elite
3
controller. Yeah.
controller,
Yeah.
possibly, that might be in the works. I'm pretty sure it's in the works, but they may unveil it at Gamescom. But like, if they do an XO, whether it's sometime between September, October, or maybe as late as November, because they do like to get people talking about Xbox just before the holidays, so that way they go up and go to the store and pick up, one of the consoles or something to that effect, or something like that would be the best bet. But I
Yeah.
know a lot of people have kind of crapped on their previous showings, like when they would have the not Xbox Live shows, but it basically those shows that they would give you like a heads up of some of the stuff coming, and they would have like a dev interview. They always got kind of crapped on to some extent. So I think Phil and the team are probably going to take all of this feedback and look at definitely showing something that will surprise us, because they're like, yes, I know we've gotten leaks as far as like a lot of the projects that are going. They got like 10 or 12 projects between some third parties and even some of their internal teams that we haven't gotten an official name for, and I'm pretty sure some of them are far enough along to at least give, whether it be a CGI
Yeah.
trailer or some sort of vertical slice type of thing. But I think they know from after this show, the 12-month may not be the biggest hit with the fans, but I think it went over well with the general public. Like, being at the event, other than like a handful of people that are like, yeah, I really wanted to see Avowed, or yeah, I was hoping to see Hellblade or something like that, or an update on Indiana Jones. Most people were happy, or at least pleasant. I don't think they were purposely biting their tongue or anything, but when I check Twitter and it's like, oh my God, why is it? It was like, I'm like, did they see the same show I saw or something? And keep in mind,
That's
it's on a
Twitter
big
for you
screen.
too, Fuzzy. You had the privilege of like watching it in a bubble full of like fans that are really not engaging with social media at the time, probably
Mhm.
too much, right? And
Yeah.
so it's like your reactions and interactions and stuff aren't really going to be like swayed, as far
Right.
as like it's just general, right? But then it's
Yeah.
easy for people to be influenced really like in negative ways with social media, because like that's just human nature. You see people like having a negative take, then all of a sudden you
Mhm.
start looking at things that way or differently. You know what I mean? Whereas
Right.
you're people there, or people that are just general public watching it, aren't really kind of keeping up with what people are saying or some of the media and stuff even, and they're just like, oh, I thought that was really good, okay, cool.
No, but it was funny to me because I totally understood what the guys from Turn 10. I know his first name is Chris. I can't think of his last name. I'm sorry right now. But when he was talking about in game, I knew exactly what they were going for, because it's something that it wasn't that it was a shot at GT7, but it kind of was in a way, because that's where ray tracing is only outside of gameplay or outside the game and replays and photos and things like that. Same thing with like Starfield. Seeing that on the large screen, people were like, "Oh, look at the characters," and some people had to Photoshop them, and it's like that that looked just as good, if not better, than anything that we saw with like Outer Worlds and a few other RPGs that are that nature. I was totally jazzed seeing that stuff, but hey, like I said, it just seemed like there was this disdain for the Xbox show from a certain group of fans or non-fans, or I guess you could say fans of another platform that just seem to look
Mhm.
at it and want to, crap on it anyway, and spread that negativity across the Twitter sphere, I guess you could say. But no, I think it landed well with the general public. The diehards like us, we probably have like one or two, complaints or gripes about it, but overall, I think we got a good show as far as for what we're going to have to play. But yes, they definitely need more future stuff, sprinkled throughout the year. They don't have to do it like a big show type of thing, but maybe every 3,
That's what
4,
I
or
was.
5 months.
That's what I was kind of looking at. We're getting QuakeCon and Gamescom in August.
Mhm.
QuakeCon starts on the 18th, and Gamescom starts on the 24th of August. So we're less than 2 months away from another show, 2 shows pretty much. So
Yeah.
We could
I mean,
maybe
I know-
see a Quake reveal there
Yeah.
potentially.
I know
you guys
gamers have
think?
short-term memory, so 2 months is going to seem
Yeah.
like 10
Yeah,
years.
y'all
but-
remember way back in the day when they did that whole 12-month thing? Wow, that was so long ago, That's true. QuakeCon is right around the corner, and Gamescom too. Like,
Yeah.
I wonder what we're gonna potentially get at those shows if they are going to start utilizing, because Gamescom's always kind of been like, they don't really reveal too much there the last several years. It's kind of been like a lower tier reveal type show, but
Yeah.
it's more of an in-person event, right? And a big spectacle whenever they've had Gamescom in person, which is in person again this year too, right? It's back
Yeah,
to
I
being.
believe so.
So I think like they've always treated it, E3 is like their big reveal time, and then Gamescom is like, hey, we may save a couple little things for here, but maybe this year will be a little different. Maybe this year there is potential some future stuff or updates on some games that were already announced. Also some of these,
Tokyo Game Show is in I think 90 days too. So
yeah, and they all never have anything for Tokyo Game Show.
Yeah, I
but
know.
now with the whole Japanese thing in this showcase, hey, we're really making an effort to get more,
Well, and they have a team over there now too. They're
Right.
doing something. So they are working on a project. They've announced it. Again, when we'll see that, we don't know,
Yeah.
but they are getting more involved over there. So there's
maybe
certainly
that's when
something
we'll
they can start
see
focusing on.
gameplay of Wolong or something like that, because they obviously have the marketing rights for that, right? So
Xbox had a show last year at Tokyo Game Show, I think, didn't they?
yeah, but
Yeah.
Yeah,
they
it's
didn't
usually
show
Minecraft
anything.
focused.
It was
Yeah.
like a flight sim update was there.
Yeah,
some other
in
stuff like that, but,
Minecraft. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's all it is there usually. But again, that could all be changing. And Alvin brought it up. They are hiring. They had that position a few months ago that they're hiring for somebody to start organizing shows, right, within Xbox. So they could be potentially moving to more shows each year, which is the hope. So Alvin, you're absolutely correct. And Jigga J, let me tell you, I gave Phil an earful about what he told me on the burner phone, and it was completely wrong. Like, he did not
Yeah.
tell me anything right, except for some of
Liar.
the stuff worked out. Some of the stuff worked out. I got some good information, but he did not tell me they were doing a 12 months. So he got my earful. I'm never going to trust him again.
I'm starting to think that this burner phone may not actually exist.
Are you sure, Mav?
I don't know. It's starting to cross my mind that was a whole just like spiel, like a thing, like a gag, or like
Why
Who's
are you doing
gagging?
this live on air? Why are you doubting my credibility?
We'll talk.
live
We'll
on
talk
air?
after the show, okay? Because I need
We'll
some.
talk after.
I need the.
We'll talk after.
I need the receipts, Pong Soul. I need the receipts. I need to see said phone. No, this is great, man.
It's a burner phone. He threw it away.
Yeah.
his
in the
his
ocean.
voice is like this message will self-destruct in 10th. So E3 Xbox Bethesda showcase. I agree with a lot of that. I don't think this was the year to do the whole 12-month thing. I said this a few times. I think next year would have been better, because I think that this one had too much filler in there to do the whole 12-month thing, right? In the middle. However, it was still a good show, right? I look at it, and there's a lot of things that like the hardcore Twitter sphere gamers aren't even like really talking about or considering from the showcase that it is has a massive impact, right? There's the whole Riot Games thing, right? We did the whole winners or losers thing last night, Pong, and like I should have said PC Game Pass as well, because PC Game Pass was a huge
Well, you know, I
winner.
said it. I said it.
You
I
said
PC.
PC gaming, right? Which,
But that's
which is,
but I included PC
Yes, you
Game
did.
Pass.
Actually,
actually, you said-
Actually, I did.
But PC Game Pass for real, like Riot Games is on there, you know, and you had a lot of these games are going to Xbox and PC as well, like right away. And a lot of these things like aren't really talked about when people are like grading your shows. It's only like the big AAA like first party games that people are focusing on, right? And everything else is out the window. But you had Kojima, you had the Persona series and Atlas making their way to Xbox. You had the whole Riot Game situation with PC gaming, which with PC Game Pass, which is a huge deal, I believe. How much money that's going to save people that want to dive into those games. Even if you are already playing that game, one of those games, and you have like a few of the characters, you're like, holy shit, I can just do that and get all. Like, I mean, that may be like something that a lot of those gamers might consider that are into those games, right? So there's that whole aspect.
And that's going to bring in more Game Pass users than I've said that. I think that will bring in more Game Pass users than even Starfield would have launching this year. Overall, it could bring in more Game Pass. Like everything we talked about with no Starfield, no Redfall, like what are they going to do? Game Pass subscriptions are probably kind of flatline this holiday. Well, shit, you throw out a Riot Games deal like that, all of a sudden now you got the potential to see an increase coming into the holidays as more people get word that, hey, sign up for $10 PC Game Pass and you get all the characters on all Riot games open to you instantly. Look, that could have a huge impact. Sorry.
Yeah, no, and also indie games, right? Like
that Minecraft game too.
Silksong is a huge W. Shout out to Indie Gamer in here. I know he's flipping out about Silksong being in there, but Silksong, again, a lot of the base core Xbox console players that don't dabble in the indie games don't understand how big Silksong is and what a giant W that is for Game Pass. That itself could bring some Game Pass subscribers as well, just to get a chance to play Silksong out the gate. That's
for
huge.
sure. Because if you're making the decision, okay, all I care about Silksong, right? I really want to play Silksong, but like, if you get that and you get PC Game Pass or you get Game Pass Ultimate or whatever, and you get all this other stuff too, like High on Life, right, as well, you know, which is another indie game they're trying to be like make a bigger game, which we found out today was originally going to be a Stadia game, right?
Thanks, Stadia. Thanks, Google.
Wow, there was two games actually that were supposed to be Stadia games. There was that one, and there was one more. You know, we also...
Kojima?
I know Kojima's game, but there's High on Life. There's one other one.
Kojima's game.
Was it Wolong?
No. I'm looking it up.
It was
Quarry.
A different one.
The Quarry.
The Quarry. Oh yeah, that was from 2K games. Yeah. So there's two different games that were like supposed to be Stadia games. It was pretty crazy that we found that out. But like Quarry's not like Game Pass or anything. But regardless, like that was pretty crazy to see that the fallout now, and the Kojima is another one of those supposedly, right? So, you know, Xbox is kind of picking up some of the scraps from Google, it seemed like, with High on Life and also Kojima's project. Kudos on them on striking on that, because I think it helped out for this 2022 to 2023 era with or time period with High on Life, because that looks like a pretty legit game. You know, it's an indie studio making a big game for them, and they coined the phrase triple I, which said, I love that phrase. I'm going to use it because we've been trying to figure out like, hey, what's a way to really represent like this like leap with indie games, because it's no longer just like 2D platformers anymore, or like little puzzle games and stuff, or little story based interesting things. Like Pentiment was way more indie than High on Life. You know what I mean? Like, and Pentiment's from Obsidian, a huge massive studio who has this little side project, you know, but like High on Life is like, looks like a AAA game made from like any big time studio, right? And it's pretty impressive now that you see the variants of types of games that are being made from big studios, not just having to only make big games, right? And also indie games now being able to make big games. And we're trying to figure out, how do we quantify these indie studios, like what we call that, triple I, like fit perfectly, man. So shout out to him for coining that. I think that was really cool. But yeah, overall, man, there's just a lot of great things to take away from this. And then when you wrap it all up into a year, it is really impressive, right? Because, oh my God, like this first half of the 6 months is going to be a little more rough, you know? we got a couple of cool new announcements for that. We got one of those was High on Life. We got I think another 1 or 2 games that are coming out this year with Game Pass that are pretty big in that announcement. But like 2023, the first 6 months is absolutely fucking bonkers, man. Diablo 4 in and of itself, Diablo 4, which could be in Game Pass by the time that comes out, because the Activision Blizzard deal may go through before that game releases. If it does, we expect that to be Game Pass day one. If it's not, still gonna buy it. Holy shit, it looks freaking incredible. That for me, guys, was one that I was like, I need to stop everything I'm doing and play this damn game, and I hate that I have to wait for it. Did Diablo 4 have the same impression on anybody else here? I mean,
I've been wanting to play it ever since they showed it off. Like, I was like,
yeah,
I could be playing that game right now. It looks so good, but I don't know. It's just one of those things you got to wait on, I guess.
yeah.
I think we all were, Mav. I think Diablo 4 was a star of the show. Again, with all the talk surrounding Immortal and all that kind of stuff and the monetization, it's going to be interesting to see. I know there's been some videos done of some people in the community already talking about that they're worried about Diablo 4, that this could turn into another Immortal situation. Not the same per se level of Immortal, but that Blizzard's on this pace, this track where they really are going to try to take advantage of people and lock the best, even if it's just cosmetic.
Yeah.
That they're now in this mode where they're going to lock the best looking cosmetics, armor, and stuff behind that paywall. And yes, you're going to be able to play the whole game. It's a full price game, but they're really going to go after people, even charging them full price for the best looking cosmetics, because as we all know, a big part of Diablo, not for everybody, some people can play through it. I can play through it without having the best looking character in the world, but some people are going to be really, really enticed to go buy that. But again, from the game standpoint, this is Blizzard back at their peak again. This is Blizzard listening to the community, bringing back the dark tone of Diablo 2 and going away from what they did with Diablo 3, which turned a lot of Diablo fans off. So again, the game was so impressive, one of the best looking games that we had seen out there, even from a top down, action RPG style, which a lot of times, you don't need those graphics heavy, but with Diablo, with the atmosphere that they're going for, the special effects, the spells, the whole feel of that game is completely different.
He like swung his scythe in the grass cut. I was like, oh my God, it's like mind blowing.
This is what Blizzard used to be. Yeah, this is what Blizzard used to be, right? This is when they were pushing their talents to the max, and hopefully this is a sign of things to come. Again, the monetization is going to be there. We know that. We'll see how bad it is when it launches. But from a game's quality standpoint, they went completely back to what they originally envisioned Diablo as with Diablo 1 and Diablo 2 and got away from that 3. And I think that's made a huge portion of this fan base extremely excited for the future of Diablo. But yeah, of course, just like Jasper, I want to play it right out of the gates after watching it. I want it to be available. I want to hop into it. I want to get started on it. So hopefully we'll see it in Game Pass by the time hopefully Activision Blizzard will be done by then and we get that in Game Pass. But no matter what, it's going to be well worth it. I think it's going to be a top tier product again from Blizzard. So I'm excited.
Oh, 100%. Even when I was watching a little bit of the PC game show. I think that was after
Xbox.
And holy crap. Like, I mean, the PC community erupted when they showed Diablo 4. And we saw what our community did. And so when you have one of the biggest communities in the PC with Xbox community, and we're gonna get a game that has been scrutinized as being probably one of the best whatever, I forget that style gaming is, but that game, once that comes into Game Pass, because we know Activision and Blizzard is being acquired, that is just big news for Xbox and everybody. And it's just one of those games that, Diablo 3, the Diablo community didn't like it as much, but the hardcore, like myself, I liked it. It wasn't bad. It was something. It was a Diablo type game, and I love Diablo games. So when Diablo 4 was announced, and then now the acquisition of Blizzard, that I knew Diablo 4 was just in the background, and then seeing it at this showcase and seeing it on the screen, actual gameplay, and it was awesome. And knowing that the MTX is only for cosmetics and that's it, that's a win.
And Psycho. Interestingly enough, the game footage was from a Series X console, not from
That
PC.
too.
Yeah. Mhm.
Not from that was huge. Talk about a statement right there
Yeah,
in itself. When they
exactly.
just came out blatantly and said all the footage you're about to see is from the Series X, bro, that's off the charts. Because normally we come out of those showings, especially from a company like Blizzard, who is PC specialists, right? Normally all their development is PC, and then they convert over to console, right? To this time to know that those graphics that we were blown away by, that all those special effects, everything that we saw, that we were going, wow, this looks absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
To know that that's exactly what we're going to be seeing on our consoles when it launches next year. Wow, man, that was a statement right there. I loved it.
It truly was. And that's the thing. That was like one of the biggest moments that when Ron Ferguson came out, this is captured on the Series X, and then saw the trailer, we're like, holy fuck.
Yeah. I've been waiting for that moment from Diablo with this game, because we've been waiting, like, or I want to see the goods. I want to see, we've all been impressed because we talked about it with like what we've seen with the art style and the direction from Diablo 4, kind of bringing it back to its roots, right? What we kind of wanted. But this gameplay they showed this time, and we got a trailer featuring the Necromancer, then we got more gameplay, right? And what they showed was like just like Diablo gamers, like people that really have been into Diablo, or like especially the older ones, like if Diablo 3 is your first one, right, and you just love that and stuff, like this isn't necessarily what you're expecting, you know what I mean? Oh, Jasper. Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm talking with the art style, like 3 is a lot more like art, like colorful, and kind of like a little bit more whimsical type, even though it's got gore and stuff. But I mean, this is like dark and dirty, you know what I mean? Dark and dirty and bloody and gory, and it's just like Diablo at its core, man. It's like,
sounds like Psycho's bedroom.
It is exactly. That's where they took the inspiration of, actually. Like he had camera crews from Blizzard go into his house and like film, and then they recorded sounds, and the squishing sounds you hear when people explode and stuff. You guys don't want to know what that is, okay? But yeah, you get. He saw a guy out of his window with a parabolic mic. He's like, "What the fuck you doing, man?"
I was gonna tell him he can have his girlfriend back, but
Whoa! Wow!
Hey, is that your neighbor?
Hey yo!
Hey, what's up? All right, so that was Diablo was a big time fucking highlight for me for that show, man. It was a wow factor time, and out of everything we saw, which there was a lot of amazing things, there's nothing that wanted me to just jump into the screen and start playing something immediately right away like that Diablo 4 trailer did. And that was like, I don't, recall too many shows where I'm just like that, but besides that, man, like we got other massive things, and like people are nitpicking these things apart, like ridiculously so, but I think it's because they just laid it all out there for us to see. And, people are going to do that. Whenever Starfield was shown for the first time, you were to tell me that everybody was going to have positive things to say, I would never believe you, because of just the way the internet is, and it's an Xbox title game, now.
So,
but even then, like we were going to talk about Forza Motorsport last night, Pong, but we didn't even have a chance to, because we talked about Starfield for so long.
Starfield,
but like Forza is again like changing the game, man. Like we, as impressive as Forza Horizon 5's graphics were last year, we talked about like what is it going to be like when they actually show their track racer, when they're going to show Forza Motorsport. How are people going to react to that? Like, what's it going to be? And again, they just like shut it down, dude. Like, I've been into GT7. I've been playing it. Fuzzy has too. But what they showcased here is in a different league. Like, graphically, of course I got to play it, right? And you're not going to tell me that Forza Motorsport's not going to play better than GT7 because every Forza Motorsport's played better than any GT game. But you add this graphics on top of that with the, like, all this, and then they confirm, oh, it's in-track ray tracing and all this other things and stuff. You know, it's like they are laying down the gauntlet as far as visuals with sim racing games, and I don't know if there's anything that is going to touch it anytime soon.
I'm not even a motorsports guy, but like just the way that game looks, I'm like, I just want to play motorsports now just because it looks so good. It's like, I don't like the track racers, but I'm going to play this one. It's like the best looking game I think out there at this point.
I've rewatched that trailer more than any other trailer. Like, it's mind blowing.
It's amazing, and to know that it's in-game real-time ray tracing, is just, it's insane. And then it has global illumination ray tracing, but it's not in-game. It's more probably for replays. But just to be able to have that in the game, that is something that no other game right now on console is doing at the moment, with global illumination ray tracing and this high fidelity ray tracing with 4K 60. Hopefully that's what, was stated by Phil in 2020, and it still holds to this moment.
We'll see. We'll see.
We'll see. I mean,
yeah.
I'm hoping, it's out there. So I'm assuming that he wouldn't say it to be proven wrong. So
yeah, I just feel like if that was the case as of now, they would have blatantly, boldly said that at this showcase.
Yeah, it'd been like,
you know what I mean?
This is all captured in 4K 60
with ray tracing on track. But they left out the 4K 60 aspect. Now the trailer was in 60 frames, right? But we don't.
I think this was more for ray. They were just focusing on the ray tracing aspect before letting, because that would have been maybe too much because some people, it was too much information because they just couldn't believe that it was real, and they questioned the whole fucking thing, and they had to come out and say again, hey, listen, it's not replay, and it's not on this, it's in game, and it's fun. But
well, I think the big thing, even if it's not 4K, if it's one of those deals where it's like checkerboarding or some sort of up-res type of deal, the fact that it's going to be, I'm pretty confident that they'll be able to do 60 frames with the ray tracing that they're doing for the cars and things along those lines. Like my gut's telling me that they'll probably have it where it's going to be 4K 60 with RTX and 4K 120 without RTX. That may seem like lofty goals, but considering I think they will be able to pull this off as far as like with the way they're building this from, I know they say from the ground up, and some stuff kind of gets, upgraded from what it was previously and ported over, but they're doing like a lot of rescans of the tracks and things like that. So the level of detail that they're going to put in the environment and all that, I'm pretty confident this will be the true next gen racer. Like I'm heavy into Gran Turismo 7, and I had my gripes with it being a cross-gen title, and I'm curious to see, like, for me, they answer all the big questions as far as for motorsport. There's some small questions like, are we going to finally go beyond 24 cars, which having 24 cars in Motorsport 7 is already outdoing Gran Turismo's 20, but I just want to see if we're going to be able to get more, AI on the track and things like that. They've already shown that the tracks are more alive than they were in Motorsport 7. So it's going to be on par or better than the live action stuff that you see on the outskirts of the track for GT7. They were doing a new tire model as well as new suspension model. They're also doing new tire compounds, which that's huge considering before you just had, your basic, performance rubber and your performance rubber with like a logo on it type of thing. So now we'll have the different compounds, so that way you can add in strategy for like hard tires that last longer but don't grip as well versus soft tires that grip well but wear faster and stuff like that. So they've definitely put in a lot of the effort, and that trailer showed a lot of little small things that that I picked up on that aren't present in GT7 and things that are kind of missed from GT7. And they even with the after show they made mention that some of the cars that they showed, like their oldest new car is 2018. Not saying that they're going to have cars before 2018 in there, like the ones that have been in previous Forzas. But as far as the new cars that they're adding, which I think they said out of the 36 that are shown in that capture, at least 22 of them are new. And the oldest one is a 2018 GT4 car. So that's also another shot at GT7 where the newest cars, with the exception of 20, are 2017 or earlier. And then they have like 20 cars that are, 2018 or newer compared to they're already adding 22 cars that are going to be 2018 and newer. And that's on top of what they've had in the past, which have been, 2019 cars and 2020 cars that they've even added to Motorsport 7 after they had them in Forza Horizon 4 and 5. So
Yeah. Well, it was stated that the footage we saw of Forza Motorsport was captured on PC, right? Mm-hmm. So if they had I think that was captured with 4K 60 with ray tracing, right? That's the way it looks. Mm-hmm. It looks, but if you watch it back, they do say that the demo is captured in game on PC and also tested on Series X for the same video quality output. But it's still like it raises a lot of like. I don't know, like, they got to come out and say this is going to run 4K 60 with ray tracing on Xbox Series X, flat blank, or come out with your solution, right? Like, I think it's like I don't really care personally, right? And I just don't want it to be 30 frames, right? Yeah, like 60 frames. If you have a 30 frames mode in that game, is fucking stupid. Like, you do not put 30 frames in that game, right? Unless you just want to have like a photo mode where you turn ray tracing on and have it at 30 frames, right? Other than that, like, no 30 frames, please.
Right.
God, I'm asking you of the Forza gods, no 30 frames mode, period. It doesn't make sense for a racing game, especially in 2022. Now, if you were to 23, whatever, and also like for a current gen only game as well, right? So if you're doing that, like, that needs to be the standard 60 frames. What resolution that is or what scaling solution they have for that, I don't give a shit, right? Like, I would love native 4K, right? But they may be able to get by saying 4K not being native 4K, right? Like, you could have 1440p scaled to 4K, or like dynamic resolution and all that kind of stuff with ray tracing. Or you may have like a fidelity gets dropped down a little bit for 4K 60 with ray tracing as well, and then have a 4K 60 without ray tracing that's higher fidelity as well, that has more like off-track elements and stuff like that. That's the kind of things I'm kind of expecting, because that's the kind of stuff we've seen in other games. However, I do expect this to be in the top tier with performance with Xbox first party, right? Halo Infinite proved that you can have high performance on a very big game, right? They have 4K 60, no ray tracing yet, but they also do have 4K 120, right, with different fidelity settings and stuff. So I think it's possible for them to do, but I'm not going to count on it yet, because they didn't tell us that specifically in either the after video, which I think was today or yesterday, when they answered a bunch of questions on the Forza monthly update, and also at the showcase itself. But regardless, it's going to be amazing. Right, we're gonna get excellent performance on this game, and they did reiterate several times in-track ray tracing. Please don't like pull the wool over our eyes and do 30 frames for that. That would
maybe on the Series S they'll have a 30 frames mode.
Maybe it could be on Series S. That's different,
Yeah. Well, I thought they did say that that Series S is going to be I think 1080p ray tracing with 60. I thought they came out and said that.
I don't think they said anything. Yeah,
I think it was Digital Foundry, and they with the Forza team, and they concurred already. I'll have to look that up.
I think they're still too far out to confirm specs, to be honest.
Yeah,
they're not going to confirm specs yet. They could say that what they're shooting for, right?
I'm not sure. I'll have to look, see what Digital Foundry was saying then. There's a whole thing about it today.
Yeah, we have to look that up. Yeah, Forza, I agree, Sousa. The 4K 30 mode and Forza Horizon 5 look good, but it plays like shit. So, it does look great, right? It's crispy if you're not moving your car. So, I just want to move my car in a racing game. That being said, like, it is what it is, right? Like, a game like Forza is different than a game like Starfield, right?
Yeah.
Forza needs to have the performance and the bells and whistles graphically, but then we come to Forza Starfield and we get criticism of the performance already, right? And we get performance of this because it's not that kind of game, which also baffles me, right? Whereas that game is like, we're gonna see a 30 frames mode. Like Todd Howard's already said that he's shooting for 4K 30, right? That's how he chose to showcase this game. We're going to hopefully, if the gods of gaming, if Todd, God Howard or whatever pleases us, gives us hopefully a 1440 60 mode with maybe scalable to 4K or dynamic resolution. That's I think probably the most we could hope for on a game as massive and ambitious as Starfield, especially from Bethesda, right?
Have they done any like modes before in their games, like performance mode or visual mode? I can't think of any Bethesda game that's like.
I can't think of it either. There've been mods, but
Yeah.
I'm hoping this will be a first, just because we're in this
Performance.
we're in this time period now. I don't know.
Didn't they add that to Skyrim, or did they just
They added
Skyrim,
it's
Skyrim
compatibility mode and
anniversary.
stuff.
Yeah.
They added it, or it's just got updated to 60.
No, they added it. You can go back to 30.
Okay.
4K.
But you have to do it through like the dashboard, don't you? Yeah.
Correct.
It's not in
correct.
game.
Yeah, it's not in game. Right. But look, this all goes back to it. First of all, chat, all you people jumping in after the intro of the show, I'm not ignoring you all. Normally I'm in the chat. I apologize. I was having technical difficulty, so I'm down to just restream. I see all of you. Love you all. Thank you all for joining us. I'm not ignoring you guys tonight. But anyways,
Pong's ignoring you guys.
Listen, I think the big thing is, and Steele's been all over this from the beginning. I think the big thing that has to start happening, and this is kind of a conversation between Starfield and Motorsport both. First of all, Motorsport looks absolutely amazing. I was raising my hand to say, why is anybody else talking about Forza right now? We should just let Fuzzy go for an hour. We could all go get something to eat and stuff, because the man knows everything. None of us should be talking. But between the two, right, I think it brings up a good point. I think they should have predetermined settings like performance mode or graphics mode, whatever, fidelity mode, whatever you want to call it. But Steele's been on this for a long time. Now that consoles are where they're at this point, I think developers need to start giving us console players who want to jump into those settings options to change like the PC guys get, right?
Ooh,
and I think that they should let us
to turn off all
yes,
those. Yeah.
Yes, they should let us fiddle with it and give us options to find our perfect spot, our sweet spot, right? Whatever that is. And I think that would be great. I think by the end of this generation, we need to really start seeing that. And I understand that most console owners, why we are console owners, we sit down, we just want to pop it in, we want to play it, right? Give us a couple options, we're good. And for most games, I would agree with that. But for games like Starfield, games like Forza, I think it's important that the developers start putting those options in there and let us find our perfect place, because some of us care about certain things more than others. And it's not just as simple as 4K 30 or 1440p 60, right? It's not as simple as that. We want certain different things available to us. So I think that would be a great spot for both of these games to start doing that. I
Even in
doubt it's going to
competitive
happen.
games, like if you crossplay with like PC people, always turn off
Correct.
the grass and the bushes so they can snipe you without
Correct.
everything in their way.
Correct.
Right.
That's huge important. And like Forza, if they come out with 4K 60 ray tracing, cool, awesome. I'll fiddle around with it, but they better have a 120 mode in there for me as well. I don't care if it's 1080, 120. Give me a 120 mode, because when I'm racing, and I'm not trying to take pictures, that I want 120. I have the capable TV. I've got the Series X. I want that 120, because in racing, just like shooters, that 120 makes a difference, especially when it's sim racing. Okay, so I want that option as well. So that's what I'm talking about. Everybody's kind of got their different things now. We're all getting more advanced as the consoles get more advanced as game players. It's not back in the day where it was 30, 720 if we were lucky, 30, and that's all we had. Now we've got capable boxes that can give us different things. So I think that's very, very important that they start doing that. But I'm not, again, I'm sitting back. Things have been said. I'm sitting back until these developers come out and say, this is what it is. This is the options that you have. I'm not going to sit here and be like, yeah, we're getting 4K 60 ray tracing on Motorsport. I'm not going to go out there with that. I want to hear Turn 10 and give us the actual specifics of what we can expect when it comes to these boxes. The same with Starfield. Again, love Todd Howard to death. Call him God Howard for a reason, right? But the man does like his 30 frames. If it was up to him, we'd probably all still be playing at 30 frames. Okay. Yeah. Look, I'm not going to sugarcoat that thing. I don't agree with him in any way, shape, or form, but it is 2022. His game's coming out in 2023. I think that he and his team understand the importance of having a performance mode because so many people love to play at 60 frames that I think that that's got to be in there. Again, until they officially say it, I'm not going to say that for sure it's going to be in there, but they better not come out and just say 4K 30. Wow, that would go over.
Yeah,
that would go over
great with the gamers.
Yeah. No. Don't do that, Todd. Don't do that. I don't care that's your vision. I don't care. It's not everybody else's vision, Todd. Okay, give us options. So.
He's one of those filmmakers.
You can choose your way to play the game, but you can't choose how to play it.
Right. It's a sandbox, but we're going to make you see how we want the sandbox to look, and you can't do anything outside of that. No.
Shout out to Abacab72, hit us with a $5 super chat. He says, "Hey everyone, just wanted to send some love to Assassin Lupa. Hope she gets better soon. Hope you guys enjoy the quarry." I'm hearing a lot of good things about the quarry. We're going to be probably streaming that on the channel once the online co-op comes out, because I know Kate wants to play it. I've heard good things about it so far.
I'll play the trial if you guys like it that much. There is a trial on Xbox. Just download it, play it. I played the pre-log, and it definitely hooks you. But I'm waiting for the co-op, like Mav just said.
Yeah, in July I'll revisit that. Wow. So we got a lot of other Starfield things, but let's take a step away from that first. Let's talk about a game that's not getting a lot of discussion, that was also shown quite a bit of, that's coming first half of 2023, and that's Redfall. Right? I think because of all the debate about Starfield and like, it was No Man's Sky or and Forza, and people are like, I don't even know what people are picking apart about Forza. I just keep seeing people say, "Oh, people stop picking apart Forza." You can't fucking pick anything apart from that shit. It was like absolutely insane, dude.
You can. Oh, you can.
What was Fuzzy
there?
What's something
Fuzzy real
saying?
Quick? Well, because they're trying to play with the ray tracing stuff, and it's bullshit. So whatever. Yeah. They're trying to go back and forth. Oh, you guys are ignoring what they actually said. Oh, you guys are saying that the Digital Foundry's lying. Oh, you guys. No, again, ray tracing reflections versus ray tracing global illumination. All of us in this community, for the most part, understand the difference. If you don't, go look it up. Again, I'm not a tech guy, but even I know that there's a difference, and they were very clear on what it was going to be. There was no lies in what the developer in Turn 10 was saying, okay? Zero. So you guys can squabble all you want over that. Ray tracing is going to be in-game reflections, okay?
Yes.
Not global illumination, period. Okay, we already know this, but you guys are trying to argue over this fact. Anyways, Fuzzy, I did have one question for you.
Yes.
Before we move off of Forza Motorsport real quick, Mav, sorry, I'm not taking over your show, but I did have a quick question for Fuzzy specifically.
Go ahead.
No, I had a quick question. Fuzzy, can you briefly, because you are a nuts and bolts guy, when you saw what Forza Motorsport was showing off, specifically in the materials, how much more advanced was the materials, the detail on the materials, like when they showed the engine and you could see the different materials? How much more was that than GT7? How much bigger a difference was
materials one more time?
Yeah,
materials.
The biggest thing that they did with that, and I'm not sure if that's going to be like a Forza Vista moment, and even if it is a Forza Vista moment, they've gone into like the nth degree of level of detail as far as like the material, like the glossiness or the matte finish of it, the crinkle or the wrinkles that you will see in like certain aluminums and tubes and things along those lines. So they've done a lot better, I won't say better, but a lot higher scan rate than what they've done on some of the previous engine bays. Like before, you didn't see all the wires and hoses and things like that. So they've definitely stepped it up a few notches. Now, on some of the stuff, some particular cars in GT7, like some of the Legends cars, like especially the $20 million ones, where it's like a one of one or one of three, and they happen to take the one where it has like a scratch on the dashboard or a nick in the bumper type of thing.
Yeah,
those cars have that level of detail in GT7.
Okay.
But like for motorsport, like that particular car, and I'm pretty sure they're going to do that on a lot of the GT and prototype cars and things like that. I would say it is a generational jump, in all honesty. Like we're talking about like the comparison when you would look at like a 360 motorsport game versus like, you know, when Motorsport 7 was on the X. On the Xbox One X type of deal. So it's definitely a leap. They've definitely upgraded the scans that they do. I would have to say it's near photorealistic as far as like some of the level of detail. Now, as far as the detail in game, it always goes down a little bit, and that's even the case with GT7. But to have that where you can see the nuts and bolts of the engine bay, yeah, that's huge. That is definitely huge.
That's why I asked the question, because again, racers have always been, if we go back through generations of consoles, right? Those are the showcases. Those are the showpieces of a console, a brand new console, right? That's why we usually have a racing game right out the gates with a console, because that usually pushes the hardware. Now we saw with GT7 with it being cross-gen, can't say that it really pushed the PS5 to the max. No. It can have its moments, obviously, where it looks gorgeous in certain areas, but otherwise, with Forza Motorsport, what they showed off with the environments, with the attention to detail in the cars, taking that next step up. Look, this is the one that you showcase when you bring somebody over and say, yeah, I got the Series X. You pop in Motorsport and go, look. That's what I'm talking about. This was worth the wait, having them take the extra time to actually come out. And from what they've showcased so far, this is that moment where we go, okay, now we're starting to see what these consoles can do. And that's what I want. I thought that was really special when they looked in that engine bay. I was like, wow. Like the heating wrapping, all that material. I was like, wow, this is special right here. I loved that part of it. That's why I asked you about it.
Yeah, it's like the photogrammetry, but on the cars. That's essentially what it's come to, and it's that close to, you know, reality now, where it's going to be hard to tell in some cases, while the thing is actually actively playing, not just in photo mode type of deal.
Yeah, great job on the material segment, Pong Soul.
Sorry, Mav. Take your show back.
No,
it's okay. Redfall now.
That entire time, Mav was just making faces.
I know.
No, for real though, that's a good question though, because that jumped off the screen when I saw that, because it's like they talked about doing that before. The difference in the materials, you're going to really start to see that next generation more, you know, and stuff. And you really saw it here. I mean, it's like, wow, it's like you can tell metal to rubber to plastic to. You know,
and that's one difference that Gran Turismo always has, because Polyphony has always gone down to the detail, like brake lights and all that kind of stuff. When anybody does those comparison shots,
like
there is a difference with Forza.
Not like this,
right?
Though.
But now, exactly. Turn 10's taking it to that next.
Yeah, but we can't compare these games anymore. You know, it's came out a year later.
A year later,
my
cross-gen.
My favorite narrative right now is that it is ray trace sound, and that's what they were talking about. That's why they didn't specify. And I just wanted to smack that fucking idiot that's on Twitter right now. That.
Again, then he didn't watch the developer speak today at all,
right?
Or yesterday, whenever it was. My God,
do you hear that?
I mean, they did the ray trace sound in the cross-gen game Horizon 5. But they're going to have ray trace audio in this more than likely as well. But that's not the ray tracing that they were talking about. When Chris, one of the developers from Turn 10, was talking about it, if I don't want to call names, but if someone is that slow that they didn't see that they were taking shots at GT7 purposely to show the difference between them and GT7, I don't know what to tell you. It was like everything that people asked for in GT7, like, oh, I really wish ray tracing was in the, you know, the driving mode as opposed to the replay mode. That's what they were talking about. That's the reflection.
Just straight up facts. I like GT7, but Forza Motorsport blows it away graphically, right?
Exactly.
And I mean, it's not. and playing GT7, even though I'm having fun with it, like it plays like GT2 or 3 or 4. I mean, it's not really much difference in the physics of it at all. You know, you can even tell when you watch the game, the car just kind of like, you know, it's like it really moves really weird.
Well, because they focus everything on how the car looks, the model details, but they don't do anything else with the realistic driving. How the car hits a wall, it doesn't bounce off.
They're not good at physics.
And that's the thing, and that's what they no one talks about. And it's like, yo, look at the physics and look at what Forza does since way back when, and now with the new Forza Tech engine, they emphasized on what this and new engine is capable of. And it's just, this is a brand new game on a brand new engine. So just imagine the next Forza that's going to utilize that, they learn that they're going to push it even farther. This is just the beginning, folks. And that's why we say now that Forza is the standard of sim racing. Forza Motorsport is the standard.
Well, it's already been the last like decade, right? Now it's just enhancing that even further. Right,
it's 100%. It is now standard.
I was really curious how it was going to look because GT7. I have a comparison. You know what I mean? Of like what's supposed to be the next best like sim racer, right? And like I've been enjoying it.
That's what I learned from Flight Sim. So just putting that out there.
Oh, okay, you're right. And it's fun. I really like the game because of how bad the physics are in a way, because it's just fun to drive, right? But man, it's just like it's in a different league, dude. And I think anybody watching it can't say any differently when you see that. And it's going to be clear as day when we're playing the game. And I'm going to come out and say it. Forza Horizon 5 looks better than GT7, and that's an open world racer.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, what GT has done well graphically is the car models and the lighting. Right. They've always had great, like realistic lighting effects, and they've had great car models, and they've had like wonky physics that are kind of fun to play, but they're not like great sim racing physics. It's just the cars drive slower. So it kind of like tricks you into thinking it's more real. You know what I mean?
And the AI in Forza has been better as well.
Yeah, the AI is better. Like, and y'all got the Drivatar system, which makes it fun even when you're like racing against like AI people. When you see like you just blew Pong Soul off the road and ran him into tires and stuff. You know,
because that's how you play racing sim games.
Only when I see you. only when I see Pong Soul, like I'm just gonna run that motherfucker off the road and then I'm gonna screenshot.
Fuzzy's never gonna play with you.
Yeah. No.
Mav uses use a bumper when he's in a turn. He's like, I'm just going to push him out and get that turn.
Well, Pong drives slow, so what other my options are? You know what I mean?
Because he brakes around a corner.
I brake correctly.
Oh, you're supposed to use brakes?
I watch you playing GT7 streaming, Mav. Okay, come on.
Yeah. A shout out to Flush Jackson, who hit us with a $5 super chat. Again, I can't say the damn word. Super chat. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. He says,
second time.
Correction, you leave a Forza moment. You want to floss and quick resume and pop it in a few milliseconds when you show it off to a friend. Yeah.
True. Yeah. Even better.
Yeah. But let's talk about Redfall here. It was another big first party game now shown. And I remember hearing a little bit of critiques, about this when they first showed it, about kind of like, oh, maybe it's not, they got some more polish to do. And then we kind of watched it in 4K afterwards. And the game kind of really jumped off. It was like looking way more impressive than we saw at the showcase. I don't think the showcase stream did it justice, really. But when you watch that back, it's like, wow, okay, there's a lot of like, it looks pretty shiny and polished, and it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. A very different game for Arcane, and we kind of really get a scope of what this game really is now. When we had the leaks before of like some pre-alpha footage, where it's like really like old looking type footage, or like deep in dev type footage, it was like, okay, like this is seeming like a much bigger game than anybody anticipated. And now we're seeing that in the way Pete Hines described it at the second showcase, talking about what makes Arcane games special, and this one is still going to be a big story, but instead it's like open world, and you can play co-op, but it's still going to feel like that classic Arcane experience just with friends, but in an open world. It's going to be like very interesting to play an Arcane game like this, and I think it's got me really intrigued. that's one of the first half of 2023 games. Like if you put this online, you got this co-op looter. It's kind of a looter, right? A co-op looter.
Yeah, there was purples and greens and blues weapons.
Shooter, right? With abilities and stuff, and it kind of reminds me of Borderlands-ish type style a little bit, but much more slower paced, you know. Then you got Diablo, you got Forza, and you got Starfield, all within a 6-month period. And that doesn't include everything else.
Just what was at the Xbox stage, too.
That's just exactly, dude. You got Warhammer Dark Tide coming this year, right? Then you got
Jedi Survivors first half 2023.
Yeah. I mean, I got this graphic that they put on Twitter after, right? So we can kind of see this and just take it all in. Take it. That's impressive, right? How are we going to make time for all of these big games in the first half of 2023? Diablo 4, Redfall, Starfield, Forza Motorsport, Wolong Dynasty, Flintlock. People are screaming about that game right now. I was too. I think it would look really impressive.
That'd be hard.
all within the first 6 months. You know, that, I mean, that's like, as far as, you know, big time titles, that's pretty damn impressive to have. Are they going to probably do, you think they're planning on maybe doing one a month for each one of those games? That would make sense.
That's if Activision's thing is through, because I mean, Diablo would still have its own release date scheduled from Blizzard, so
right.
Xbox wouldn't have any say in
well,
that.
Sometimes they're still trying to avoid their third-party partners, you know, with big releases, you know, if they have, like, they may not want to drop, like, Starfield on the same day as Diablo, right? Or Redfall, potentially, you know what I mean? But, like, Forza Motorsport, they'd be like, okay, we'll drop that at the same time, you know? What are y'all's predictions for over this release calendar for the first month? Do y'all have an idea what you think we're going to see first in 2023?
Out of first party, Starfield.
Yeah. You think so?
Yeah.
Like when? Like February? I'm guessing
February, March. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I think Dead Space is actually first on
which
that
means
list.
I'll be completely wrong, and it'll be June for Starfield, right?
Well, if just putting it out there, right? If that was the first from first party, and that's March, that means that March, April, May, and there would be two more big first party releases. But you also have Stalker 2, Wolong, Fallen Dynasty, and Diablo in there. If Diablo's first party by that point. In a 3-month span?
I think some of them are going to come out in 2 months. Like, I think you could put Forza out at the beginning of March and Starfield at the end of March, and it would be all right.
Yeah.
Right.
Forza could actually be the first one out the gates. Forza could be ready to rock and roll.
You're right. Maybe January?
January, early February, we could see Forza, and then we could have Starfield in March.
I was surprised we didn't get a release date from any of those.
So was I. I think they're still moving things. I think that's why this is in flux. And I think that, again, Starfield has the greatest chance to be early, but it also has the greatest chance to keep getting pushed, right? I think Redfall and Arcane could be ready by April, May. So I think that Starfield, if it needs more time, they're going to allow that thing to cook as long as possible, right? They're not going to push that thing out the door. So I really, truly think that even if we think that Todd and his team could be ready come February, March with it, I think that at the end of the day, if they get to that point or they get into January and Todd looks at Phil and says, here's where we're at, I think it's not going to be a big deal for them to push it to June, right? I just, because they're not going to get that one. Like Redfall is close by the way Arcane's talking. Forza is close by the way they're talking. So I think that those two could be popped right into those spots, those early spots, and then push Starfield out. But if they can get Starfield out in spring to bookend with an Avowed come holidays next year or Hellblade 2 next year, then that's what they're going to want to do, to give them as much space as possible with big RPGs, right? Especially Avowed. So Hellblade 2 is in a different category there, but still, I think that's the plan. But I don't know.
Well,
It's a tough one, man.
Something I was surprised we didn't get a reveal for was Age of Empires coming to console.
Yeah. That's another one that's got to be in the works. Too many people have said
we've
it's in the
seen
works.
the code names for the Xbox version, so it's just like,
Correct.
where
They've
is
been
it?
testing it in the background. Yeah, it's got to be close.
Do you guys think that could something that could still be first half of 2023?
I think
Yeah.
it could be the end of this year. Like,
I think it could be a surprise drop.
yeah.
Like just randomly, just like, hey, next week,
Yeah.
Age of Empires, but they didn't really include it because it's a game that's already been released.
It's possible.
Right.
Yep.
Okay.
It's certainly possible because we got Deathloop in there. Deathloop could be, if the marketing it does end appropriately. We got Deathloop dropping in this year. Age of Empires 4 dropping in this year. I mean, we could still have some first party stuff hit this year.
Yeah.
So,
well, looking at the list of 2022 as well is damn impressive. It's still, even if you like taking everything away, you got Warhammer Darktide. You got Valheim coming to Xbox, right, for the first time.
Valheim's 2023.
Oh, okay,
Xbox. I think
for
it's
consoles?
PC Game Pass 2022.
PC
Yeah.
Game Pass 2023. Okay, got it.
Yep.
Plague Tale Requiem, Somerville. Naraka Blade Point happens in a few days. I wouldn't say that's like gonna be like the biggest title, but people that are playing it early seem to really like it.
it's very good.
Is
It's
it?
very good. Yeah,
They
Okay.
extended
and
the
I don't
beta
like
to the
battle
19th.
royales. Remember that. I do not like battle royales. This game is very, very good.
Right.
I'm supremely impressed. It's really cool. If you got the Insider, go check it out because they extended the Insider program till the 19th as well.
Mhm.
So you can go check it out now. It's very, very well done. I'm actually enjoying the hell out of it.
You got a trio of console launch exclusives in High on Life, Scorn, and Atomic Heart as well, still slated for this year.
Darktide.
And then Darktide. Then besides that, from third party, we still know about Call of Duty, which who knows, it could be first party by that time, but I doubt it. Hogwarts Legacy and Callisto Protocol, Gotham Knights,
Gotham Knights. Yep.
and
Saints Row.
Saints Row. Yeah, this isn't like including everything that we, because there's even also Persona 5 Royale, right? Or Royal. There's also a lot of games, guys, that were shown at other shows that are coming out this year that they didn't choose to even include in this graphic, right? Like for one, like TMNT was nowhere on here. They could have easily threw that on here for 2022, which some people are already saying, hey, game of the year, you know? I was half joking, some of them, but
yeah,
the game's a lot of fun, you know? So if that's what it's all about. Speaking of TMNT, man, what a fucking game. I want to see more games like that.
6-player co-op is just it's awesome. Like exactly, if more games could do that, that would just make things so much more fun. Because I mean,
who's the dev that did it?
It's something with a T, it's like Tribute or something.
Well, it was a
Can't remember.
team up between the teams
know.
of Streets of Rage guys and also
Are they independent or are they underneath
Developers,
somebody?
Tribute Games.
Tribute Games. Are they underneath somebody?
Let's see. It's an independent video game developer out of Montreal.
Okay, Microsoft, go get them and then go make cut deals for all the old
Former
arcades.
Ubisoft people. So
Yeah, go get them. Go cut deals with all the IPs out there from the former arcades and just have them do all of those games. You guys will be filling up Game Pass with quality for a long time to come. They could go do any of those old arcade style games and make them awesome. Just go cut the deals for the IPs. I'm not even joking. Like that game is that good. Forget it. Be amazing.
Dotemu also was the publisher, right? And they published and developed Streets of Rage 4.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So they teamed up with two other dev teams on that, but they're listed as a developer for Streets of Rage 4 and also the publisher of Streets of Rage 4. And they are listed.
Beat 'em ups. That's the publisher to keep an eye on.
Yeah, and Tribute Games is listed as the developer. They've also made, just games developed from
it's not really anything big out of
Panzer Paladin, like nothing. You know, really, this is like their first really big shebang here.
They've got a specialty. They've got a specialty there.
Yeah,
whatever they did.
Because Ninja Turtles last night, that was a blast. That game was so good. And imagine playing the old school X-Men and playing the Simpsons.
Yeah.
or even Golden Axe, but that
They
has
could
to
do
come
Gauntlet.
back.
They
Yeah.
could do Gauntlet. They could redo Gauntlet.
No, they just got to talk to Midway or
Well, Midway's gone. I don't know who owns
Yeah.
the rights to
Never
Gauntlet right
Realms?
now.
whoever.
They
Never
sold
Realms.
off a bunch of IP at the time when they went under. So, because Microsoft did pick up a bunch, they picked up Hydro Thunder and stuff.
I
from
think
Midway.
THQ
So,
got some of them too, and then
Yeah,
THQ
'cause
went under. Now it's
those-
THQ Nordic, so it's a whole mess.
I remember there was gauntlets like every freaking every other year, almost every year they had a new gauntlet for a while there, on at least on like the 64 days, and it was just like it was cool. I liked it, but it was just like, okay, guys, enough of these gauntlet games, and then it just disappeared. You're like, okay, we still like them, but don't fall off the face of the planet. Holy shit! That was
actually, the last Gauntlet was published by Warner Brothers. I wonder if they own it. They potentially could.
Because it was Midway Games, and then it was big, and Midway used to be NetherRealms, and then they changed to NetherRealms, and so
Flush.
Midway
Valkyrie is
games are
about
so
to
good.
die. Elf needs food badly. Oh, God, I love that so much. It's so good.
But like TMNT, that's like a big win for Game Pass, right? Like,
Yeah,
I mean, it feels
huge.
like, it's just like this gift that was just given to us, right? Like, it's kind of like Game Pass has that effect where it's this. If you looked at our friends list like yesterday, I mean, did y'all everybody was playing this game, right? Everybody was playing this game.
Even my
So-
grandma was playing it, and she's dead.
Oh, jeez.
What?
Well, I mean, like,
That's who was. That's how many people were playing it.
if you look, I mean, it has a huge effect, like Game Pass, right? Like, it's big for the devs, but it's also big for Game Pass subscribers. Like, people are just saying, "Oh, I don't see anything coming." All of a sudden, we get the surprise: the TMNT, one of a lot of people's most anticipated games, is coming to Game Pass, and it's only like 2 weeks away. I think we're going to see that a few more times this year.
Well, this
Actually.
month they haven't announced the final lineup for this month, but we know of like 4 games coming to Game Pass this month. It's like, where's the graphic you always put out for the end of the month? It's like, where is it? I don't know.
Right.
We
They
got.
didn't get back to the office yet.
Yeah, I know.
I think they might be waiting on GoldenEye at the
Mm,
Nintendo show at the end of the month.
You think so?
I think
But
they
that'll
might,
be the 29th, and you put out the graphic one day before the month ends. It's like, what the hell?
That's true. That's true. That's a little bit late. I keep forgetting it's the 29th. I thought it was next week. You're right. That's too late.
Maybe they just like forgot about it, Jasper, with everything else going on.
They're
I
like,
just
we're
like
staying
looking
off
like-
of Twitter for a bit.
I just like looking at that graphic, so I was like, oh, I look forward to this game on that date and stuff. And it's like, well, I guess I just have to do research and find out every individual game coming to Game Pass.
Right. So what are the ones coming later this month that you know about?
Shadowrun.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
and Total War on the PC, and there was one more I can't
Yeah,
remember.
that's a different Sega Day One game, or is that one that already it's been out?
I think it's been out.
The Total War.
Three Kingdoms.
Oh yeah, that one came
No,
out like 2
yeah.
years ago, right? Okay,
Yeah.
a couple
Yeah,
years ago.
yeah. But
Okay,
this,
yeah.
it just got announced this past week. Yeah,
Okay.
for PC Game Pass. So
All right, so we got
Sega deal.
yeah, proving.
Everybody wrong. Why are you guys excited for the Sega deal? It doesn't mean anything. Nothing's gonna come out of it.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I think Sonic 06 was relisted a couple months ago too on the store. Just
Sonic 06.
yeah, the 360 game. It was delisted and it was relisted like a couple months ago on this Xbox store.
Do you guys think we could see potentially Sonic Frontiers come to Game Pass Day One?
No.
No.
do.
Yes.
I think it's needed.
It's
I think it's
possible.
needed. I think the reception and how Sega's handling it right now, and I liked what I saw, and I have faith in that team that it's going to be different from the bad showing that it per se was. Although I liked a lot of it, but coming out and saying gamers just don't understand what this is not a way to do it. When you want Sonic to come back in a big way and match the movies, you really don't want to come out and say gamers don't understand what they saw. And that's on you. If you're showing something and it's not showcasing the game properly and gamers don't understand it, especially people who've played so many Sonics in their lives,
Yeah.
that's on you. You got to do a better job. You got to show us what you're talking about. Oh, we've got these other levels and blah, blah. Well, then show us, give us snippets of those other
Yeah.
levels where we might get a better impression.
I
just-
think they still think Sonic can carry itself, and they don't need Game Pass for it.
Well, but they're doing a lot of other Game Pass games day one that they didn't necessarily have to either. Like they did Total War Warhammer 3 on PC. They didn't have to do that. They did. They're doing 2 Point Campus as well. That they didn't have to do. 2 Point
But
Hospital
that's
is
just like a smaller game. Like a lot of people don't know.
It is,
about
but
those,
Total War Warhammer 3 is not a smaller game. You know what I mean? It just seems like they're kind of really buddy with Xbox right now, where if there was to be another game surprise Game Pass day one, that's just one I would put as a higher odds. Not saying it's gonna happen. I'm guaranteeing you Sonic Frontier is gonna be there Game Pass day one. I'm just saying, like,
Are you smelling something, Mav? Are we back to that again?
I do smell we're going to get some fucking more bigger games going to Game Pass day one before the end of the year. Like that's something we talked about that we felt like they would probably do to kind of offset some of the 2022 vibes, you know. But if these games are far in development and they make a deal for Game Pass, usually that's not going to be announced like way in advance. It's going to be something like when we got like Outriders announcement and other things like that, where it's like a few weeks before the game comes out because they don't want to deter people away from pre-orders, right? So I think we may get some surprises that they just can't talk about yet, you know, and that's going to be interesting to see what happens the second half of this year still. I'm talking about third-party publisher big games potentially. You know what I mean? I don't know what level, but there could be something bigger than we've ever seen before. I mean, even last year we got or was it this year already? Rainbow Six Extraction.
Yeah, it was
this year.
That was January.
Right. So, you know, we've had a few of the surprises earlier this year. That was another case where it got announced just a few weeks before it came out. Right.
And where's Ubisoft Plus?
Where's Ubisoft Plus? We still have another announcement to make there. Ubisoft has not shown anything this year regarding their lineup or anything. I'm still expecting some kind of showing.
I think they
One of our losers last night.
Yeah.
Didn't they say like a
Ubisoft.
couple months ago they have like 6 or 8 games coming out like the first half of between now and 2023? It's like
Supposedly, but they're not showing any of them.
yeah.
We have a great free-to-play live service lineup coming to you all within the next 6 months.
And now Skull and Bones is supposedly
Yeah.
maybe only current gen.
Yeah.
Well, didn't they
Show us.
release that roller derby game
Yes.
or something?
Yes, out of the blue. No fanfare. Here you go.
Yeah.
Here's roller rink or whatever the hell it was.
It's pretty fun to play.
It is,
but
it
they
is.
didn't.
But
You can tell it's like a very small budget on that thing, and
Yeah.
like they just kind of released it to the wolves, right? And say, hey,
Yeah.
we'll see if this thing catches fire. Just throw it out there. We'll
yeah,
see.
that always works, Ubisoft, in this day and age. You can just totally do that because there's no other games that anybody's playing out there. You can just throw something there and something's going to stick. Come on, man. Come on, Ubisoft. They really don't understand. And then you have the biggest week in gaming, but then come out and say, oh, September, we're going to talk about the new Assassin's Creed. Why not talk about it now? What are you doing? You got
Yeah,
all
the
eyes on the
15th
gaming
anniversary
industry.
hour live stream that he's talked about Assassin's Creed Origins for 45 minutes. It's like,
Correct.
what the hell?
Yeah. Well, I'm a little disappointed with Ubisoft and EA over this gaming Christmas season. You know, like where are you at? You know what I mean? Come on, like, and also I mean WB, I can't discount them either. You know, like they didn't show a damn thing. I don't that I can think of.
They've showed Hogwarts, what, 2 months ago or whatever when we had that deal. So
and they showed Gotham Knights a few times.
they
as
showed
well.
Gotham Knights
That was
a few
here on
times, so
Summer Games Fest. Jeff Keighley's show,
Yeah.
Gotham Knights was. So
Yeah.
they
It
were
seems
here.
like a lot of these
customization.
publishers are just doing their own things now, just randomly when they feel like it. You know what I mean? And it's like,
because they don't have to pay $10,000 to be on someone's stage when they can just do it for free.
right? It's
Yeah.
YouTube
But
videos, right? I mean,
But you should still be around like some of the big times. Like
Yeah.
if you're a publisher, I'm not talking about the small publishers, but a Ubisoft and EA, when you got if you got nothing to show, you got nothing to show. But I'm saying like Ubisoft, we know for a fact they have to have something to show by now on like 2 of their games. Like Division Heartland's got to be showing at some point. What are you guys hiding? Like I don't understand. Skull and Bones, you claim is going to be out this year. Okay. I mean, we got to see this stuff. So, I mean, again, just around this time, why would you not schedule it? Even if you don't want to be on the main stage, have a Capcom showcase like Capcom did. Like, show off a couple games. Like, talk about things are going, right? it only makes sense when you got the whole gaming world, you got the media focused on this week, you got all of us gamers focused on this week, YouTubers, everybody. Do it around this time at least. I mean, even Sony did their state of play just the week prior, knowing that people were starting to get engaged and be like, okay, what's coming?
Yeah,
we got Christmas time.
But see, the thing is also you got to think maybe their like ideas like, well, that's a busy week for everyone's like all like it's all just kind of congested. Maybe we do our own thing a couple weeks later, and it's like, hey, we get our own day, you know?
It's not a couple weeks later though; it's September. I just like I said, if it was a smaller developer, smaller publisher, I get it, right? You could do that to separate yourself from the congestion. But when you're Ubisoft or EA, people are gonna be like, hey, let's see this. We're excited. Like let's see what you guys got going on. No matter what we think about those companies, it's still a big deal. So I don't know. They just fit in with this time. That's just my personal feeling.
Yeah,
obviously they don't listen to me. So.
I was just coming out with another point, maybe, but you know.
Actually, guy, yeah, okay, all right.
I mean, do y'all think we'll see something like from them soon, or no?
Hopefully. I mean, I think as far as the whole Heartland thing with Ubisoft, they're just letting the division kind of stay on life support. Like they got a very small team working on, the main game, where like Pong has talked about this before. It's like they have all of these things that they're trying to throw at the wall to get the stick for microtransactions and stuff that they could, they've already implemented them in the division to some extent with cosmetics. They just need to bolster that to keep the content constantly flowing on that. So that way people stay engaged, stay playing it, hopefully spending more money as far as they're concerned, and continue. And then, have it lead up to, Heartland. That would have been the best thing for them to do. But it just seems like they're so focused on, I guess it's what, Avatar. And I know they got the Star Wars game, but that's probably a few years
I think what they end up doing is doing individual streams about that game. Like a month before Division comes out, would be like, this is the Division stream, and then try to get hype around it for that month and then release Division. I don't think they do like those big shows. It's like,
yeah. Well, so they can have a nice video of somebody standing outside of a warehouse with graffiti all over it, and they can like just randomly, hey, let's just find a shithole somewhere and record a video to hype up our new project. That's a good idea.
Why are we talking about these guys? They suck. They don't know what they're doing right now. Okay, they don't. We got all these great games that were shown over this past week.
You're right, Pong.
Screw these
What's
guys.
the next great game you want to talk about, Pong Soul?
I don't care. We didn't even talk about Redfall.
Oh yeah, that's what we were going to talk about. Redfall.
That was your topic.
I know. I was like, everybody always just bypasses Redfall. Then I said like a sentence about Redfall, then bypassed it completely. All right, yeah, thoughts on Redfall, guys? Like who was super impressed by what we saw?
Not super impressed. I need to see a little bit more of actually like how the gameplay is. Like it's cool just shooting vampires, but like, is there an objective, or are we just walking around an open world shooting vampires? That's kind of where I'm at.
There's missions.
There's a story.
There's stories. There's missions. Harvey Smith, game director of Redfall, actually had an interview with IGN. Everybody should go watch it. There's a couple concerning issues with Redfall, but after go back and watch the 4K, I thought it looked great. I'm into it, right? We all love multiplayer games here. We play together. Yeah. So it's a fantastic setup. I love Arcane to death. So again, I can't wait to see this game in action in my hands, right? With you guys playing. But there is a couple concerns. Harvey Smith had a great interview. He deep dived a lot of stuff. Like they had a great interview with him over there. So the world is divided. It's not completely open. Okay. There's going to be two portions. Okay. There's going to be the city portion, and then there's going to be kind of the suburb portion. So you will have to complete missions to open up the suburb. You're going to start in the city, and then you're going to have to open up the actual suburb section. So there is going to be two sections here. Progress, this is the big one, and I think that we should probably start tweeting at Arcane so they hear us, because it's not set in stone. But progress, they're going with the goofy system where only the host of the game actually gets the mission progress. You'll carry over your character progress. You'll be able to take all your loot, your weapons and stuff with you. But if you go back to your game after playing with a buddy, you're going to have to do those missions over again. They are not set. He said, as of this moment, that's what we think works best for this game. But we all know, or most of us, again, I don't have a huge problem with it because I don't mind replaying missions. But again, we've all known that time where we jump out and then we want to jump back into a game, and all of a sudden we can't jump into somebody's game because we haven't completed that mission run yet. That I don't like. I don't like that at all. I think that kind of sucks. So I hope that they make that decision to change it back where everybody gets the mission completion.
Well, if it's kind of like Borderlands, that would kind of make sense because, like in Borderlands, say like you're level 2 and you jump into my level 10 game and we do like my missions. Like once you get to level 10, you still got to do those missions.
Right, but give me but I understand the concept, and I don't have a huge problem with it, but I would rather it count me that I do get credit for that mission, and then if I go back to my game, it just asks me if I want to replay that mission, because his point didn't have anything to do with that at all. His point in the interview was we just didn't like the story flow if you already completed those missions and then go back, right? His point was, well, just give me the option. Say, hey, do you want to replay this mission? So if I want to replay that mission, I can go ahead and do it. If I don't, I can skip it because I've already seen it. But that was his main point, is the narrative. They didn't want to break up the narrative for the person who goes back to their playthrough, right? And I'm like, I don't like that. Like, even if I complete, like, let's say missions 1 through 3, or let's say 2, 3, 4, and I go back and play mission 1, well, I've already seen 2, 3, 4 narrative. It doesn't matter if I jumped in the Mavs game and did it that way, right? So I just don't care about it. Give me the option to go back and do it. But otherwise, I thought Redfall, again, the showcase stream did it no justice, like Mav was saying. You got to go back and watch this in 4K. It's a whole different game when you watch it. It's one of those games that really stands out when you go back watching the highest fidelity. So that is important for everybody. Outside of that, again, as a lover of Arcane, as a lover of looter shooters, multiplayer with mission structures in a I'll call it an open world, but again, it is divided in two. I think that's fantastic, and I can't wait to jump into this game. I love the special powers that each character has. Each one seems very, very unique. Harvey Smith also can confirm that you can all play as the same character. So you don't have to choose. You don't have to have one of each character. If you're playing 4-player, you can all have the same character if you all like that class. Okay, so that's cool. That's a big thing. But overall, I really did like what I saw at Redfall, and I can't wait to see it in my hands, in action.
Yeah. Psycho, are you back yet? No. Okay. Fuzzy, what about you, man?
I love seeing it on the big screen, so it was pretty much like seeing it in 4K right in front of me. But the only thing that I wanted to see were the actual loot drops. Like, I saw the in-game menus on like the second part of like when they were going through like some of the customization and the skill trees and things like that. I just want to see what the loot drops kind of look like, or is it just going to be a reward at the end? If it's a reward at the end, that's fine. But I'm always used to after playing Borderlands and playing The Division, or even Destiny for that matter. I like seeing the blue, purple, green, yellow, orange, any of those colored drops. It's like, oh yeah, that's a better weapon. Let me pick it up, type of thing. So that's the only thing that I think was missing from the gameplay. But overall, I like the variety between the different characters and things like that, as far as the different play styles that you'll be able to do. I'm guessing the collective mind thing is almost like a dungeon type of deal. So those should be pretty cool as far as, I guess, for the extra challenge.
Yeah, and they talked about that too. Harvey Smith talked about that and confirmed that they will be replayable, that you'll be able to go back and rerun them and all that kind of stuff as well. So, yep.
But being a looter shooter fan, I'm definitely looking forward to this. I was already looking forward to it, even when other people were like, "Oh, we kind of thought it was going to be delayed anyway," and a lot of people were like, "I don't even know what it is. Is it, Back from the Dead or something like that?" But
Back for Blood.
I'm excited for when that game finally comes, to Game Pass, or comes to my console, so I can download it and play it. But it looked awesome to me, and I'm curious to see some more of the player customization stuff and just the loot drops, how that's going to work out.
Yeah, I'm wondering if it's more like Destiny looter shooter, or if it's more like a Borderlands looter shooter. Like, is it going to be like have like an end game where you just grind out like months on end on Destiny, or is it going to be like Borderlands where you just kind of beat it once, get max level, and be like, okay, I'm done?
I would say Destiny, since that is Phil Spencer's favorite game. So I think it would be more along that lines.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that makes a lot of
Phil
sense.
went and dictated Arcane to make a Destiny-like game. Is that what you're saying here, Psycho? Come on.
No, not at all. I was just comparing what Jasper is saying. I was just telling him it's more like probably Destiny. Grind it out for
because that's what Phil
years
likes.
to come. That's what Phil likes. Hey, if you got to make the boss happy because you delayed it, let's make it like his favorite game.
Arcane is so independent. Arcane is so different. And again, Pete Hines touched on this as well in the second show when they asked about Redfall. I do want to see the little twists that Arcane have. I don't think the gameplay showed off any of that. Again, Harvey talked about combining the powers together, and you can have some really unique situations where if you get into a good group of people with different classes, that you can really wreak havoc in a way because you can combine the powers and that kind of stuff. So I can't wait to see that. But Pete said that there is that Arcane twist to this game as well, and it's something that you do have to play to see it. And I'm paraphrasing, obviously, but that's what I got out of his interview. So I do want. That's what makes Arcane games special, right? Again, this may look like things that we've played before, and we can make all these comparisons, but Arcane does things a little different, and that's what I want to see.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's just a Borderlands ripoff, so might as well.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Right. That's funny. Well, there's another game that I wanted to talk about a little bit that I feel like is not getting enough discussion, and that's because it's multi-plat. However, this is a big deal because it is a game from a studio that is not really synonymous with Xbox, and it's also getting console launch and PC launch, and it's coming to Game Pass day one as well, right? Even though it's coming to other consoles, it's coming to Game Pass day one. It has Xbox marketing rights as well. This was very interesting to show up at this show, right? Right after, was this before or after the Persona announcement that they showed this new game, Wo Long? But yeah, Wo Long really looks intriguing. There was not a lot of information about it, what it was. I do feel like if this was shown off at a PlayStation show or like a Nintendo show, people have been flipping their shit, right? Oh no!
This was right before Persona, by the way.
Right.
Yeah.
A new Team Ninja game. Oh, let's fucking go crazy, right?
Everybody's passing over it.
Yeah. At the Xbox show, it's
Not
like,
me.
hey, it's just part of the show, right? All right, so I kind of like they did an interview with IGN where they had some more information about what kind of game this is, and this is a game that's been more absent from Xbox's lineup, at least at launch. Sometimes they get these games a bit later, as well. But it's I'm going to read some of these excerpts from the interview. So, as a studio, they've always been known for games that challenge the player, but that can't be done without responsive controls and high playability. In that regard, Wo Long is no different from their previous titles, but this time they've turned to Chinese martial arts as a new style of combat. With titles, it says, according to Yasuda, Wo Long is a Souls-like game similar to Nioh, the studio's recent biggest success, which I actually really like Nioh. With titles like Ninja Gaiden and Nioh, Team Ninja have become known for games set in feudal Japan. So a game set in China's Three Kingdoms period might come as a surprise for some. That being said, with series like Dynasty Warriors and Romance of the Three Kingdoms, Koei Tecmo has been specializing in this setting for over 3 decades. So it's kind of like they're bringing Souls-like to that setting, right? While the Three Kingdoms period is iconic for Koei Tecmo, Team Ninja itself has never tackled it before. By merging Team Ninja's action with Koei Tecmo's most popular setting, you could say that Wo Long shares DNA from both sides. But Koei Tecmo has actually never made a dark fantasy version of the Three Kingdoms setting. It's been over a year since they started. Who's this? Okay. Yamagiwa published 2 From Software titles, Bloodborne and Daracene, when he was a producer at Sony's Japan studio before he left in 2021. His move to Team Ninja was announced last October.
He didn't leave. Jim closed down the
That
studio.
studio, yeah. I was about to say that studio was shut down, wasn't it? And
Yeah,
Wo Long
that was a Jim cut right there.
will be his first production at the studio. So this is his first game there, and he was a producer on Bloodborne, right? It's been over a year since he started working there. Team Ninja is a studio that's extremely dedicated towards action. It's a team that is focused on making games that feel good to play. Yamagiwa said about the studio he is now part of, the start of Wo Long's development dates back to 2019. So that's kind of when it was originally started, about 2 years before he joined the team. At the time, they were looking for a setting that could work for a Neo sequel. We had already made plenty of games based on Japan's Sengoku period, so he wanted a new setting. That's when he came up with the idea to make a game set in China's Three Kingdoms period. The years following the fall of the Han Dynasty is a setting that Koei Tecmo specializes in, and also one he's personally always been intrigued by. He's a fan of manga and anime based on that era. A game with this setting sounded like an interesting new challenge to take on. When Giwa joined Team Ninja, Wolong's concept had already been conceived, but luckily there was still room for discussion. So he said when he was still at Team Ninja at the time, while I was still new at Team Ninja at the time, I didn't hesitate to make myself heard at all. It was even possible to give my opinion on the game's concept, so in that regard, it was good timing. So it seems like it's going to have a lot of DNA from his gameplay, like feelings, and also like what he brings to those other games, right? Was being a Souls-like. To have Yamagawa's support for the inside of the project is really encouraging. We are developing Wolong based on our experience of making Neo. So while Yamagawa's involvement hasn't drastically changed the flow of development, Yamagawa is very adept at communicating a concept to players, so that's definitely something we've raised our awareness on. For Neo 2, okay, I'm reading too much. Okay, here we go. This is interesting. Okay, so producing Bloodborne was a very important experience for him. Difficult games shouldn't be difficult just for the sake of it. Thinks it's really important that this difficulty exists for the purpose of delivering a sense of accomplishment to the players once they have overcome it. That's why he thinks that players should always be able to blame themselves when they die. The game has to be fair, and its difficulty should never be unreasonable. In that regard, it works in my favor that I'm not very good at games myself. I'll always naturally be judging the fairness of games, he says. So it is a Souls-like. It's going to be challenging but fair is what they're saying, right? And it's basically a dark fantasy style Souls-like based in China, right?
That's up my alley. I am very extremely looking forward to this game.
Yeah,
I am. Yeah.
I mean, Souls games, there's not been a ton of them come to Xbox Day One, especially not Game Pass, right? We got Elden Ring this past year, right? But we didn't. Xbox hasn't gotten Bloodborne. They didn't get Neo. You know, they didn't get Demon Souls, right? So this is.
Did we get Dark Souls 3?
Yeah, Dark Souls, right?
They had we had all the Dark Souls on 360 and Xbox One.
But it's been a while, right? I mean, Elden Ring's like really the only one, you know, for a while. But this has ties back to like, and they talked about bringing feeling back of Ninja Gaiden a little bit as well. And it sounds like this is potentially going to be a big deal game that not a lot of people are discussing right now. I really feel like it has a chance to be pretty huge. And I feel like it isn't getting the attention it deserves because of the stage that it was announced on.
Exactly.
Does that make sense?
That is that.
Oh, yeah.
That is. You just nailed it on the fucking head. That is exactly why it has not gotten the praise in the community that it should, because it was debuted on the Xbox showcase. I guarantee if it was showcased on PlayStation's State of Play, you damn well know they would be cheering from the fucking rafters, saying, "Oh, this is a fucking win! Another Bloodborne style game that's coming to PlayStation. Here we go!" And you know, for me, I'm not a huge like Dark Souls or a Soul-like game. I did like Elden Ring. So with this and this Wulong, it looks like because I wanted to get Sekiro. I should have got Sekiro when I saw it on sale, but it's like Sekiro, but it looks like it's more on the Dark Soul. What is it? Bloodborne style gaming. So with ninjas. I don't know.
Yeah, I think this is going to be. They also say it's going to be very action heavy. It's going to be much more action based than the other Souls games as well. So what I'm picturing in my head, right, from this is like more action-based Souls-like, right? More fast-paced, action-heavy Souls-like with like a big combo type situations, like really fluid combat.
Did you talk about the pacing that they talked about, Mav, at all?
No, bring that in, Pong
Okay.
Soul. Let's go.
Okay. So again, they said it's going to be a combination of Neo and Ninja Gaiden.
Yeah.
Okay. And they said that at its slowest, it's going to be a little bit faster than Neo, but they said at its most frantic places where you are in big battles, they said it is going to be Ninja Gaiden pacing.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
that's on a different level,
Mhm.
right? Even if this turns out to be a game that I'm not interested in, even if it turns out to be too Souls like, it's going to be dropping to Game Pass. I'm going to try it. No
Which
matter
is
what,
heavily
right?
different than Bloodborne, right? Bloodborne is
Which
very
is
slow. Yeah.
very slow. That's why I was giving Psycho looks when he said it was going to be more Bloodborne.
Like I said,
was like,
I've never played Bloodborne, but
yeah,
it
no,
was the
Bloodborne
makers
is
of
very
Bloodborne.
methodical.
It's like
very. Yeah, because the enemies are like that, right? So and again, I know I'll have the Bloodborne freaks out there. I played Bloodborne multiple times trying to get through it, and that's when I was said that I'm done with Souls games until I tried, obviously Elden Ring. So, but the point being is, I do think they're going to come because of the guys having two different styles coming together, and they're putting this in a brand new setting. I think they are going to try to do something completely different here, or at least give it a
Maybe
different feel.
Like
So
a hardcore hack and slash kind of thing or something.
yeah, well, that's Ninja Gaiden. Ninja
Yeah.
Gaiden is hardcore, bro. That's some of the hardest games you will play. Now, again, Souls have brought in a whole different style, but Ninja Gaiden, for as fast paced it is, like, it's tough. It's not a joke. It's one of the hardest challenges out there, especially on the harder level. So I think they're going to try to bring that in, but make this feel like a faster paced Souls game, right? Not so methodical, not so heavy on parrying and that kind of stuff. It may be more dodging in this one than anything else, and trying to get the advantage of getting behind the enemies. Again, this is all guess right now until we see it in action, but from what they're saying, I definitely think it's going to be on another level than even what we've seen in any of the Souls like titles up to this point.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a resurgence for a kind of genre that's gone missing a little bit for me. Like where it's like Ninja Gaiden was Souls before Souls existed. You know,
Right.
like,
In a different way.
it's an
Right,
old
Ninja
like.
Gaiden Sigma and Ninja Gaiden Black were more those style games. But those also were on, I think were only released were released on PlayStation and then eventually brought to Xbox.
Well, the
when
first Ninja Gaiden like on Xbox was very Soulsy. Like it was.
yeah,
I mean, you
But
have
then
your
they-
checkpoint, you die, you lose shit, you go back to there, you could like move forward. It's just like all the old style
Yeah.
games were, right? Like,
but I'm talking about like Ninja Gaiden 2. PlayStation had Ninja Gaiden 2 Sigma, which was the very hard. It was the harder difficulty that Xbox didn't get. They didn't get that version until years later. It was very weird.
yeah. I just remember
I just
Ninja
get-
Gaiden always being fucking hard. Like, I mean, it was
Yeah,
always
well,
hard, but like it
yeah.
was
Sigma was even harder.
right.
I just get the feeling in this setting with what they're going for, I think we're going to have more mobs than we do in most Souls games. I think we're going to have bigger battles than we do in most Souls games. You know, that's the feeling that I get when they say the Three Kingdoms setting, and the kind
Yeah.
of the trailer showed off that where he's facing off bigger, you know, type. There's armies fighting, and I think you're going to be in the middle of all of that. So I definitely think it's going to have a different feel than maybe what we've seen previously. So, which would be cool.
Yeah.
Again, I never played Neo, so I don't know. Anybody out there who's played Neo, you can tell me that's the videos that I've watched of Neo. I saw, you know, more one-on-one combat, maybe, you know, some extra enemies. But if there's bigger battles than that, then you know
No,
maybe
it's-
that's what
you
they're bringing.
kind of go into an area, clear it out, move on to the next
Yeah.
area. You know what I mean? I kind of keep advancing that way.
That's why I'm thinking like maybe like a really hardcore like Devil May Cry or Bayonetta, something kind of like that, where it's more action and like each like you have like arenas and you go in the arena, kill a bunch of dudes, and you like walk through a hallway, have an arena, kill a bunch of dudes, but like hardcore like Dark Souls where it's you have to like time your attacks and stuff, and you only have like so much HP, you can only get hit like once.
Mhm.
Gogo Po, is it? That's your impression that Bloodborne is faster paced than the Souls games, huh? Interesting. I again, I'm not a Souls guy, but I have played them. I've tried them. I've tried to play them. Let's put it that way. Maybe I just didn't get far enough, but
Were
I
you
really thought
overweight?
No, I was not over. Maybe it's just my impression. Again, if I'm wrong, again, I'm not the Souls guy. So, but from my playthroughs that I tried, Bloodborne seemed much more methodical than Dark Souls.
I played quite a bit of it, and it felt slower to me. But all of those Souls games feel pretty damn slow, right? Like Elden Ring feels pretty slow. You know, I think Demon Souls feels the slowest out of all of them. So maybe that's kind of where that comparison is. I think Dark Souls and Bloodborne for me feel roughly around the same. Okay. I just remember like being like, can we get this moving on, you know? And then like part of it was like, you know, you get past this hard ass part, you know, finally, and then you die and shit. You got to do it all over again. You know what I mean? I didn't. Like I respect Bloodborne. I think it was like a really well made, great game. It just didn't like click with me like it did with some people. But that's the same with Demon Souls and Dark Souls. Actually, I like Neo more than any of those other Souls games. I think I stopped playing like late in the game because something else came out, and I didn't really care to go back to it too much. But like as far as Souls games go, that was my favorite one that I played, like for a Souls like. And I don't remember why, honestly. I couldn't tell you why. I think is maybe just felt the combat more fluid, you know, but it felt more actiony, maybe, you know, with the combos, the way the slashes and sword games were going. It felt more like an action game. But regardless, I think this is gonna be a damn good thing. I think people are also writing it off because of that last Team Ninja game that came out. That was a PlayStation exclusive, right? It was.
No, Stranger's Paradise. You're talking about?
Oh, it was that
Final
there?
Fantasy?
Okay, that was a multiplayer.
Yes,
right?
Yeah, but that was not this team.
Yeah,
yeah, that was not this team. But yeah, Final Fantasy.
What
Stranger's
did
Paradise.
that get? What reviews did that get? Stranger's Paradise. What does it have on Metacritic?
Is it a 3, a 5?
A meta?
What is it?
Oh
30,
my god,
30 something.
Yeah, it was an 8 on PlayStation and 4 on Xbox.
Jeez.
I'm gonna look at Stranger's Paradise on Meta. Let's see what it is. That was published by Square as well, right? So, you know, like who knows how much of a budget they got and everything as well, right?
Whose fault was it that it bombed this time?
That's the one that had dropped down to one active user on Steam at one point.
Ooh,
Oh, yeah.
Stranger's Paradise, Final Fantasy Origin.
it's got a
PlayStation
75
5.
or 72.
72 on PlayStation.
72.
72? Wow. I did not think it would be that high. Really?
66 on Xbox One.
Mm-hmm.
It's not rated for PlayStation 4, and PC is 65.
Okay.
I mean, this looks better than Babylon's Fall, though, right? Isn't Babylon's Fall the other game that came out that was kind of similar around the same time?
Babylon.
And I thought Babylon's
Platinum.
Fall would be the better one, actually.
What did Babylon's Fall get? How come I can't even find these games? Like, oh my god, the Babylon's Fall doesn't even have any fucking reviews, bro. Like, is it even out
Is it
yet?
not out yet? No, I don't think it's out yet.
Okay.
That's the one that keeps looking better and better every time I've seen it, so I have hopes for it. But
Who's making
probably
that?
not.
Platinum.
Wait, what's that?
Square.
I thought that was the Platinum game, wasn't it?
Platinum?
Yeah,
That's
I thought that had the
that
one
came out in
concurrent-
February.
Oh,
of
yeah.
2025 or 2022.
Was Babylon's Fall the one that got down to one concurrent player?
I think
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Am I confusing it too?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
That
Because
got a 41 on Metacritic.
Yeah.
back.
Okay. That's okay. So I had those two confused. Okay.
Right.
Apologies.
Well,
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
only
yeah.
one review on the PS4, and that's from IGN Adria. They gave it a
Okay.
40.
That must be the one player that was left on there.
That's right. Babylon's Fall. That's right.
Yeah.
That
Oh,
was
got
the
it.
one because I said that's the next Square game coming to Game Pass at some point.
So this one's Platinum.
But was it published by Square?
Oh, it was published by Square.
Yeah,
Why would the hell?
Yeah,
would
yeah, yeah.
Why the fuck would Square publish two of these games like releasing around the same time? Right. I remember we saw that at their.
Why does Square do
showcase, you know?
anything? Why does Square do anything?
So
They're like, good luck, everybody.
well, so this is even
Have
if the
at it.
B team, Team Ninja, is still better than this
Yeah.
shit show that Square
Yeah.
put out with Babylon's Fall, right? Like,
Yeah.
so there was like a 72. That's not a bad game. And actually, seeing that, I'm like, hey, maybe we're gonna go check out the Final
Yeah.
Fantasy game. I don't know, maybe.
See, then what's just happened? See you then, man. See you tomorrow morning.
Later, bro.
Bye.
Well, any guys, anything else that just like you gotta mention before we get out of here about the Xbox Bethesda shows and showings that we got? No.
Nah.
Yeah. We'll get out of here. I think it's time to play some damn games, man. I don't know. I want to play some games. Everybody in the chat, you guys have been absolutely amazing tonight, as always. Appreciate all of you being here. We got 66 people here right now, and we are going to be flush this 72 my ass. We're going to be getting out of here. I appreciate anybody hit the like button. You know, it helps us grow. You know, share out the podcast. People watch it after the fact. Subscribe to the channel, notification bell, all that good stuff helps us immensely. So thank you so much. And all the support over the last couple weeks for everybody just hanging out for all of this coverage and stuff has been absolutely insane. We're going more into regular mode now, you know, going to be more game streams and the regular shows that we have, you know, with FSP and Fun Pop and PM the PM and Xbox Ultimate. It's going to be fun to see what kind of other news happens this year and what other games may come to Game Pass. I think that's kind of more kind of announcements I'm expecting for the rest of the year, right? But again, chat, you're amazing, and we'll get everybody here. Jasper, where can everybody find you, sir?
Yeah, you can
First
go
in the
on
tart. Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
Lord Jasper on Twitter, Lord Master Jasper on YouTube. FSP is Monday at 10 o'clock on the Fun Speculation channel. Wednesdays at 10 o'clock is Fun Pop. We talk about Marvel comics, all that fun stuff, Star Wars. And then it's Xbox Ultimate over here again, Friday nights at 9 o'clock Eastern. And that's about it.
yeah, bro. Fuzzy Belvedere, what about you, man?
Oh, I just want to say it was awesome being on here with you guys and everybody in the chat interacting and everything and you know, being civil. So, but for anybody that wants to hear my ramblings on gaming, just follow me on Twitter at fuzzy_Belvedere. See you guys tomorrow night on the Shop Podcast with Pong and PTK Blam at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And Monday on FSP at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with Mav, Psychonauts, Lore Master Jasper, and 3-Bit. And then on Friday mornings at 10 a.m. with Breakfast with Boom. This is so much fun seeing all these games coming over the next 12 months, and man, I'm ready for it.
Yeah, man. Thanks again, always, dude. And if you guys want to see Fuzzy's face, check out his Twitter feed. You might see a Fuzzy Belvedere showing up. Thanks to Vik the
Wait, he's Phil
CLiCK.
Spencer?
He is. He just doesn't tell us
Yeah.
yet. Shout out to Vik the CLiCK. Hit us with a $5 super chat, bro. Appreciate you as always, man. Always rocking the positive energy and vibes out there, dude. It's an amazing episode as always, but I'm sending all my love to the Queen Lupa and sending love to Kaitlin. This episode was a sausage fest. Yeah, we did it. This was a little bit, right? Like missing some of the lady energy here. Like Lupa, again, you know, we talked about it earlier in the show. Sending vibes your way. If I hope to see you back soon, as soon as possible. But she's going to take some time to have her procedure and then hopefully have a good recovery after that, right? That's what we're all hoping for. All right. Encyclopedia of gaming dating back to the very first Souls game ever created, the old likes. Pong Soul himself, and it's his name.
I think Pong
right?
is hard.
Pong's a little hard, right?
Whoa.
Wow.
Pause. Wow.
Why we
We're
gotta
talking about
go
the
there?
game. We're talking about the game.
Oh,
Vik
no,
the CLiCK
the
just
game.
sends a super chat about Sausage Fest, and then you go there. Really?
Yeah.
Come on.
I was talking about Souls likes and Pong, you know, like a very, very similar genre, I think, right?
What?
Okay, I'm gonna take over now. Mav has lost it at this point, so let's go.
What?
All right, everybody. Hey, listen, great episode coming off of Gamers Christmas Week. I will shout out one game that everybody has forgotten about from that showcase that you should go watch. The trailer for is Ereban Shadow Legacy. Go check that game out. Me and Steel are all over that game. It reminds us a lot of another game, Origami, which there are two Origamis out now, but this is from a totally different developer, but legit kind of like Callisto Protocol not ripping off because they're the original creators, but copying Dead Space or bringing back Dead Space in a different form. This is bringing back origami in a different form, but man, does that game look good. So go check out Ereban Shadow Legacy. The videos on it, it's one not to miss. Listen, this has been a great show. Again, coming off of Gamers Christmas, I can't believe how much we've talked. I've seen all of you more than I've seen my wife, my dogs. This is absolutely amazing. This is the best time of the year, and I'm having a great time in chat. Again, I'm sorry I couldn't interact with you tonight, technical difficulties, but I am here. I've seen all of you. You guys are all beautiful. You're all amazing. I love you all. Nothing but respect for coming out and supporting all these shows, which has been absolutely insane, especially on Fun Speculation channel, where he's just an absolute madman, streaming everything that he possibly could. So shout out to all of you for supporting us. Again, we're nothing without you. You hear it all the time, but it is the absolute honest to God truth. And again, just love being a part of this community with all these passionate gamers out. So thank you all for being here tonight. Brothers, appreciate you all. Kaitlin, I know you had other things to do tonight that were much more important, hang out with the Sausage Fest, but we love you. So thank you for being in chat and always doing all the graphics and bringing your loveliness to this channel. Appreciate you, sis, my Gemini twin out there. So anyways, as Mav started the show, I do want to, and again, he just talked about because Vik The CLiCK super chat, but
it went down.
It's back.
Oh,
is it? Oh, okay. It's back again. So, again, everybody, if you can take a moment out of your days going forward and just think about Lupa and send the positive energy. It does help in these situations, whether you believe it or not, whatever you believe in, whether it's thoughts, prayers, energy, whatever the case may be, send them Lupa's way. Okay. Just for a moment each day. If you don't believe it works, we got living proof. He was in the chat tonight. Spooky Sprock was in a terrible situation. We did this exact same thing with the community and asked everybody to think about him, and he pulled through. So please continue to do that for Lupa because we want her back, and we just want her healthy again, real life. Whether she ever can come back and podcast again, that's besides the point. We just want Lupa around because she is a bright light in this world when we need more bright lights. She's just an amazing human being. So please continue to keep Lupa in your head, okay? However you do it, just do it, please. She's just so incredible. We want to get her healthy again. So that's a big thing going forward. But look, you guys can find me Pong on Xbox, Pong on Twitter. Tomorrow morning, Living Split Screen. Steel has not had the airtime that most of us on the channel have had. He's going to have a lot to say, a lot to talk about. We're going to talk community stuff. We're obviously going to talk Gamers Christmas tomorrow. We're going to talk about media. We're probably going to have some rants tomorrow morning. 3+ hours. Buckle up. Living Split Screen. Split Screen's all one word. That's right. We're going to get your morning started. 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central Time, 3 p.m. UK time, BST time, whatever the heck it is. Be there. Tell a friend. Bring a friend. We're on mission 1K. Season 2 is in full swing over there. So be there tomorrow morning. And then tomorrow night, just like Fuzzy said, the Shop Podcast, PTK Blam's channel. It's going to be Fuzzy. It's going to be PTK. It's going to be myself. And we got the Aussie. Risk it for the biscuit is going to be in the house tomorrow night as well over there. So please jump on in the Shop Podcast, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 o'clock Central Time. Bring your questions. If we got free time at the end, PTK allows you to ask questions. We'll answer them. We're going to have a great time tomorrow night as well. And then, of course, Tuesday's Xbox Factor. I probably won't be there this week. Got to be at work, but it's, Mr. Boomstick, Double Barrel Gaming. It is the channel. It is the place to be. You already know how it goes down over there. All good things green, 12 p.m. Eastern, 11 o'clock Central Time every Tuesday. Mav, Archimedes, DJ, we got N64 Josh over there. So please jump in the Xbox Factor every Tuesday, and then Thursday night, Matt and I will be back PM and PM with a great show. Last night, go check it out. We talked a lot of Starfield. We broke down a lot of winners and losers from this past week. It was a great time. It flew by. Mav was on a time limit last week. Could have kept talking for another 2 hours, but we had a great time over there. Just go check it out. It's a great night to be there on Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 o'clock Central Time. Otherwise, it is the golden age of gaming, people. It's a fact. Okay, you can tattoo it on yourself. You won't be wrong right now. Okay, it's the golden age. So get out there, play what you love what you play. Have a great, fantastic, awesome, amazing weekend, and I'll be talking to you all real soon. Love you.
Yeah. We're still having a lot of trouble. Um,
Are we? Okay.
Yeah, it's like in and out. It's like last year's events happening all over again. I'm just gonna say that. We'll see. Hopefully that's not the
Oh.
case.
Okay. Well,
Psycho, where can people find you, bro? If you can hear me.
Thanks, Jeff, for coming out. You guys are amazing. I can hear you.
Okay. Cool.
Thanks for everyone coming out, and we will see you on the flip side. You can find me everywhere, Psychonauts on social media. You can find me Mondays every once in a while. Yes, you can find me Wednesdays on Fun Pop at 10 o'clock, and here always every Friday we do Xbox Ultimate with the amazing group that we have. Please, again, keep Lupa in your thoughts, and she's part of this community, and we need her around. So thank you, everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. Thoughts for Lupa. Can't wait for her to be back. Everybody sent thoughts her way. Much appreciated to everybody being here, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your night and weekend. Bye, everybody. Thanks.
Bye.
Later.